In the NBA, San Antonio Spurs fought hard and valiant in defeat as they go down 140 to 114. They gave up 77 second half points to the Oklahoma City Thunder in the battle of the young big men. Wemby came out on top, 24 points to Chet 17. Spurs get busy again. Portland next on the docket.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
This is R&R in the morning.
Man in motion, handoff, Pollard coming right. Bang, zoom, touchdown Cowboys.
Wembanyama about 3 feet behind the line. Got it.
It's R&R in the morning with Rob Thompson and the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, RJ Ochoa.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. It's Rob and RJ, a Thursday edition. As we say around the Radio Ranch, it's a small Friday, so treated appropriately. He is RJ Ochoa, the managing editor of bloggingtheboys.com. How are you this morning?
I'm doing well, Robert. Prime Rob. I had a new thing happen to me as it relates to this position, this show. This is, I don't know what, show 10, 11 at this point now. So, seems to be going all right. They haven't pulled the plug yet.
Not yet.
But, the feeling when you wake up in the middle of the night and you look at the clock and you're like, oh, I still got time to sleep. Like,
Boy,
that's a great feeling. But last night I woke up after, I'd been asleep for a while and had that feeling. But normally in my life, that feeling has happened at like 3 a.m. All right, well, 3 a.m.
That's when it hits me.
That's way too late. Like you look at the clock, it's 3 a.m. You're like, I don't have much time left. Like this is all, downhill at this point. I woke up at 12:30 and was like, oh, thank God. Like I still have time. You know what I mean? Like that had never really happened in that exact sequence before.
Well, you're a young man. You got a long time to, get accustomed. I'll be honest with you. I'm at 2.5 years of doing this, the morning show. It takes a bit to settle in. So, and in fact, I hate to break it to you, and there's this little dirty secret. It gets worse. You're running on adrenaline now, first couple of weeks, you're excited, but the rut hasn't begun. You're still in the honeymoon period. So there's going to be a difficult time. And when that occurs, when you wake up at 12:30, those are the best nights. And you're like, oh, I got 3 hours more. Or, and 3.5 hours is a godsend. So that you'll appreciate those nights. It's the 30 minutes before you got to get up. I got to pee.
That's the worst feeling on the world.
And as a man of my age, that's a problem.
Yeah, it's a process too.
Yes.
So the problem with last night's process is the Spurs were on till like 11:30.
Yeah,
it's like, come on, guys. I mean, get it together. This 8:30 tip that's the biggest problem I have going on in my life.
And here's one of those problems of competitive, but not victorious Spurs games is at least this one, it got away from them late. With about 8 minutes to go, you go, I'm pretty comfortable with the end of this one.
Yeah. I mean, I was playing some underdog fantasy, promo code star, shout out to Jason Minix. I needed, I took higher on, they do those like, basically here's a free prop and you just do that with anything you want.
Price Picks, use Alamo, you'll get $100.
They had Price Picks, underdog, whatever you want. They had Anthony Edwards over half a point in the first quarter. And so I was like, oh, and here's one. Okay, like this is a free. Now, nothing's ever guaranteed. I will say I was sweating it. Anthony went 0 for 3 to start the night, and I was like, oh my God.
But that's that's one of those.
And then he got fouled, and he missed the first foul or free throw, and I was like, no way. It's like, this is not going to happen. Thankfully, he ended up hitting and we were good. So I needed Wemby. That's all I needed. I took
what did you have Wemby at?
Higher on 23.5 points.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what I thought. Like,
but it made you sweat.
I was like, I'll be totally fine. And so, ended the night with 24. So shout out to Wemby.
Yeah. And that little matchup, which was certainly more fun to watch than the outcome of the game. I got to be really honest with you. Chet is further along in his game. It's obvious. He's further along. Offensively, he is much more fluid. than Wemby.
How dare you?
But
How dare you.
Victor
Traitor.
has
Traitor.
a ceiling, the likes of which.
You're Rob Lowe. That's who you are.
No,
but like I recognize the pun, the unintentional pun there, but you are Rob Lowe. That's who you
why would you say that?
You're walking back, look
No,
at you.
no,
Chet
Wemby's
is
better.
the-
Wemby's better. I'm just saying, as a whole, Wemby showed it. Wemby showed why he
Wemby
is the
owned
rookie of
him.
the year. Yes, he did. But offensively, when you watch Victor and when you watch the two between Victor and Chet Holmgren and just watch them in side-by-side video offensively, facing the basket, what it looks like when they dribble, more importantly, what it looks like fluidly and movement-wise after contact. How does their body respond to that? And you can tell some of it is with Victor is youthful weakness. He just doesn't have old man strength. You know what I mean? He doesn't understand the leverage that's required. So he gets knocked off his dribble. Where when you watch Chet, this cat has had a year working with NBA bigs. He's had a year on an NBA true health plan. It's almost like he's not a rookie. And it looks that way. But even despite all of that, Wemby has more. He's got more this and more that and more all of it. And in the long term, Chet is going to be a very good NBA player. But when you see them side by side, you can see why, as good as Chet is, Wemby has more possibility, more potential. Though they lost. And it was a convincing. Trey Jones was missed, but I'll tell you, I am becoming more and more a Blake Wesley fan. With every passing game, this game speeds up for the Spurs when Blake is in there. They get faster, and it helps. It's something that you can tell Pop has wanted. Have you noticed over the last several weeks the deep outlet pass has become more and more part of the Spurs fast break game, where the first rebounder is looking up, is Wemby going? Because all I got to do is throw it high. And when Wemby grabs it, he's looking forward too. And Wesley now has the foot speed, the dribble speed to get the ball up there just as quickly, and has a good eye up court. I like watching Wesley. Not to take anything away from Trey Jones. I think we would have been far better equipped there in that late first quarter, early second quarter run that OKC took, and that the Spurs could never surmount. That was a time when we missed Trey Jones.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, and all that's fine. I mean, you're right. It's Blake is certainly an interesting option, to say the very least. Did you have something you looked?
No. I'm glad. But I was when you said interesting option, I was thinking, I'm glad we finally have that option on a regular basis. It seems like over his brief career, as soon as he has ever started to gather any kind of momentum, an injury has happened, or another injury from somebody else they got better and he got moved back, and he's never had a consistent opportunity to be something, and he's taking advantage of it.
I think, to your point, just the fact that I said he's a fine option, but the fact that he's just an existing option is a victory in and of itself. Yeah, I mean, I think you've been saying all week, you were kind of writing a little bit of a check, Rob. Oh, I think we're going to sneak up on Oklahoma.
I did. I thought we would.
I think Chauncey's going to win his petition. I think the Thunders are going to grab 2 losses on Wednesday. Nope. Kind of embarrassing.
Didn't happen.
I hate to say, it was never really close. I mean, the Wemby thing that's also not close. Again, this whole Chet's better. Wrong. No, Wemby's better. Like, dude, he owned him. And it was awesome. He was kind of into it. Like, there was some pizzazz going on there during rivalry week.
Which, first of all, as a guy who speaks to people, rivalry week is very difficult to enunciate on a regular basis.
Rivalry week. Red leather, yellow leather. Red leather, yellow leather.
See, that's the kind of thing that you go, why are they doing this? Because I have to say it. And 2, hasn't that already been taken by college? Can you just decide we're going to do this too?
I mean, why can't? Well, you're acting like a rivalries only exist in
It's
college.
funny how the NBA is like, they are not ashamed to steal. They look over at the Premier League and they see this tournament and they go, you know what? That's not a bad idea. We're going to take that. We're going to do just like that. And you know how soccer's all over the world? We're going to start playing football in Brazil. How y'all like that? We're going to go to Brazil. We're not afraid to take things in America. We'll just go do it.
Okay, the
why do we feel
in-season
the need to
tournament
make Brazilians
concept-
play our game? Why do we feel the need to send football to Brazil? Why?
The in-season tournament, I'll kind of give you that they stole that a little bit, but that's just if their model follows any other professional sports league in the world, the Premier League is the one that makes the most sense.
Oh yeah,
given the international nature of it. But nobody's stealing rivalry week. I mean, to act like there are like, but I do think it's interesting to claim that the Thunder are like
our rival.
The Chet fact, the Chet thing obviously works out well now, but to claim that the Thunder are the rival is a bold choice to say.
Because they are so far ahead of us, and they're ahead of the rest of the NBA in this part of the game. Oklahoma City, they looked at what Shai Gilgeous can do, and then they went and they had Luguentz-Dort, who is a bulldog. Dude is built like a fullback. And then you look at Jay Will, their second-year player, the dude that hit the winning shot the other night that he shouldn't have been able to even take, the way he played last night, the size of their perimeter dudes. It's like playing those guys are so tough. They just bullied our guards. And there's not a lot of teams that have the size in the backcourt that can match that. They just beat you up, and they can shoot. OKC is a very, very good basketball team. They don't know how good they are. They're that good.
Well, this was it wasn't a game. It was an exercise that both teams partook in, that the Thunder rolled to a rather convincing win throughout the process of, but did so with the less powerful superstar.
It was a grinding defeat. I mean, they the Spurs came out with venom. Boy, they were coming at them, and the drop step move to start the game from Victor, and they're running with them and rebounding, block shots. And then they did what great teams do: 4-point lead, 7-point lead, 10-point lead, 13-point lead, 15-point lead. And then we're just going to play with you all night long. And then good night, good riddance. Let's hit the streets. And that's what they did. That's how far ahead they are. And they are young enough to bring it every night. They bounce around.
There's a youthful energy about them.
What do you think of Giddey?
Trying to think of.
Speaking of youthful.
What do you mean? Like,
it's good, right?
Is there really? Yeah. Is there another thought to have besides that? I mean,
there's some skeeviness to us that evidently isn't matter. We got a lot to talk about today. In the NFL, one job filled, still some open. We'd like to welcome the other Harbaugh back to the NFL. Who's got it better than them? We're talking about college coaches going pro. We're talking about Harbaugh taking his seat in LA. Where does he sit? Is he third chair? Is he fourth chair? Do the Chargers even exist in LA? So many questions. We got answers. This is Rob and RJ. You are on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
The NFL playoffs are here.
Read all about it, baby. One last drive.
Wild card, divisional, conference championship, and Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas. Hear it on your exclusive home for the NFL playoffs and the Super Bowl. 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Find LS Tractors at Dietz Tractor in Seguin, known for top performance, durability, and innovative features, and ideal for tough tasks like mowing, tilling, plowing, and hauling. LS Tractors are your reliable choice for farm, ranch, and landscaping needs. Experience unmatched dealer support at Dietz Tractor for parts and maintenance. They're not just selling tractors, they're building lasting relationships. Take advantage now. 0% financing available with approved credit on LS Tractors at Dietz Tractor in Seguin. LS Tractors, start blue, stay blue. Dietz Tractor.
Injuries happen, and when they do, skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, and strains. Conveniently located in the Corey area with extended hours Monday through Saturday with on-site x-ray casting and bracing, Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, and best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. Learn more online at tsaog.com.
Eczema flaring up again? We have good news. Exoderm. If you or someone you love suffers from eczema or dermatitis, get Exoderm, the common sense answer for eczema. This stuff really does work. Exoderm contains the #1 doctor-recommended ingredient in a clean hypoallergenic cream with no harsh additives. Take back control of your eczema with affordable, fast-acting Exoderm Flare Control Cream. Exoderm, it's in the first aid aisle of your local Walmart, H-E-B, and other fine stores.
Do you hear that? Asthma triggers are everywhere, from dust mites, pet dander, and pollen, to smog and smoke. An asthma attack can strike anywhere, anytime. Be prepared with quick-acting Primatene Mist. Clinically proven to open airways quickly. It's the #1 FDA-approved asthma inhaler available over the counter. Primatene Mist. Breathe easy again. Use as directed.
My heart was racing just making spaghetti. I could have waited to tell my doctor, but I didn't wait.
I was short of breath just reading a book. I could have delayed telling my doctor, but I didn't wait.
They told their doctors and found out they have atrial fibrillation, a condition which makes it about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. If you have one or more of these symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness, this is no time to wait. Contact your doctor.
Brought to you by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Kelley Blue Book is the one-stop shop for pricing, fixing, selling, and instant cash offering. Instant cash offer is exactly what it sounds like. An official offer to buy or trade your car. Woo-hoo! Just enter your VIN or license plate, answer a few questions about your car's history, and what kind of condition it's in. In minutes, you'll receive an offer to sell or trade your car that you can be sure is fair. Then choose a dealer to purchase your car and schedule a time to meet. For all of the it's, KBB.com.
And now a message from Puffs Plus Lotion Tissues. Ordinary tissues can leave you with a red nose, so choose Puffs Plus Lotion for all of your blows. Puffs have lotion to soothe sensitive skin, so you can wipe without wincing. It's a win-win. Puffs have cushiony thickness, which brings relief too, so the days of sore red noses are gone and through. When you're after soothing softness, a nose in need deserves Puffs indeed.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right. Get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply or price stopped. Opt out. Go to nomoredraftywindows.com for full offer details.
Homeowners, this is not a drill. Do not put off replacing old, broken, drafty windows in your home one more day. Renewal by Andersen, the company with the most 5-star reviews among leading full-service window replacement companies, can transform your home, fixing common issues like hot or cold rooms or sky-high energy bills. Renewal by Andersen's Fibrex windows and doors combine the strength and insulation of wood plus the low maintenance and durability of vinyl, guaranteed to never fade, flake, blister, or peel. These are truly your forever windows, backed by Renewal by Andersen's industry-leading warranty coverage. Just text WARM to 200-300 for your free consultation on top quality affordable windows or patio doors for no money down, no payments, and no interest for a year. That's right, you don't pay a dime for an entire year. Plus save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. But hurry, these big dollar savings are only in January. Text WARM to 200-300 right now. Text the word WARM to 200-300. Don't wait. Text WARM to 200-300.
The Jim Rome Show.
Hey, Jim Rome here. And back in the military city of San Antonio.
Weekdays at noon on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Hey, good morning to you. It's Rob and RJ. And make sure you are downloading, liking, sharing, doing all the appropriate efforts. Go to sasportstar.com. There's lots of stuff to do there. Get yourself registered. We got $2,024. We're giving away holiday cash. National contest, yeah, but we want you to win it. The way to win it is to get yourself registered. And while you're there, we're playing golf March the 25th. quick reminder, get yourself signed up post haste. We don't want you to miss out on what is always a fabulous time. We'll have it out at the Golf Club of Texas. All these recent rains, going to make for a beautiful course. Come there at the end of March. It'll be March Madness. It'll be a reason to hang out. It'll be fun. How's your game?
You want my golf game?
Yeah.
It's all right.
You're good.
It's been in better shape before, but it's all right.
I've had the opportunity to play with you, and I know that you can play. I'm looking forward to spending the day on the greens with you, as with the other 144 players that we will have fun with that day. So the news broke yesterday afternoon. Not surprising to anybody. We have another Harbaugh in the NFL. We have Jim and John. They've both been there before. Been a decade or so since they've been there, and here he comes again. Not a surprise. He's landing in L.A. Now. That's a good land. We've been talking about him getting there because of Herbert and, the situation he finds himself. But, my question to you is, while we expected this was coming, why did he want to go to L.A. so bad? Because he's kind of a glory boy. He likes the headlines. He likes being up there. And in L.A., he is.
What are you talking about? Oh, what do you mean? That's why it's perfect for him.
Well, it's a big market, but that doesn't mean they care about what he's doing.
So I think Dan Campbell had a quote in his initial press conference with the Lions, not the kneecaps quote and everything, but where he said, I'm paraphrasing or putting words in his mouth, but he said, if you can win in Detroit, you could be a legend here, and I think that would be true, right? Like you do that, right? Like you're kind of one of one.
Yeah.
Now there's a different type of legendary status to if you restore glory, there's kind of, there's a bigger legend associated with that. Like whoever is the person who restores glory to the Dallas Cowboys is like, the center of the sports universe for the foreseeable future. Jim Harbaugh did that at Michigan, right? Like if Jim Harbaugh had done everything he did at Michigan at I don't know, Florida State, do we care as much? You know what I mean? If he'd done no, we don't. You know what I mean? There's just no way.
No, you're right. No, you're right. Michigan is a singular kind of thing. You're right.
It's the winningest program in college football history. So he restored glory, and not that there's glory to restore with the Los Angeles Chargers, but I mean, dude, the NFL Network headquarters are adjacent. Like it's a television show. You know what I mean? Like that's what it is. That's an opportunity to be at the front and center of the NFL universe with a quarterback who the NFL so desperately wants to be its face in Justin Herbert. I mean, how many times has Justin Herbert's closing the gap between him and Patrick Mahomes? The Chargers, they're a real threat in the AFC West this year. I maintain, like everybody does, that Jim Harbaugh has won everywhere he's ever been, and so it's smart to bet on him. But the power of the Chargers is too much. I can't. I'm not going to walk this walk. I'm not going to believe that this is going to happen just because it's Jim Harbaugh. I recognize the pairing of the two, but it's too much. But I totally understand the move because he has everything going for him to be a superstar face of the most powerful sports league on the face of the planet.
All that's true. But if a tree falls in the forest and nobody's there to hear it, did it really happen?
This isn't a forest. This is a big deal.
It is to the Chargers.
The NFL desperately wants the Los Angeles teams to be relevant and to be hot and to be in the mix. And Jim offers an olive branch to that. The Rams literally won the Super Bowl.
I agree.
And nobody really views them, in hot commodity range. But if he can do that with the Chargers and Justin Herbert and, bring some attitude, et cetera, people are already having all sorts of fun with this, Rob. And maybe you're going to poo-poo this a little bit. We were talking about Alanis Morissette before the show started. Are you a fan of Natasha Bedingfield?
Yeah, I am actually.
Right. Well, the rest is still unwritten, but this was written in the stars. So I don't know if you know this or not, but the Chargers Twitter account used to belong to somebody that ultimately worked for the Chargers. Well, he worked for the Chargers and, kind of changed Twitter handles, but some of his original tweets, still live and people reference them. There's a very, very, very popular tweet that people bring up all the time that looks like it's from the Chargers that reads something like, "So hungry, need to find my wife and go to PF Chang's." And it's just a funny tweet to look at from a team brand account. Do you know that Jim Harbaugh met his wife in the parking lot of a PF Chang's?
That's awesome.
This was destiny.
That's awesome. So that
and my point is the NFL is so hungry, no pun intended, for these kinds of things to exist and thrive in the universe of the Chargers.
You're right, RJ. But the NFL has been hungry for that since the mid-'70s. I mean, how many times have we attempted to awaken the LA market for football? And it comes and goes. I mean, Al Davis, the ultimate hound for publicity, tried it. It didn't work.
They won a Super Bowl.
They
won a Super Bowl.
And they ended up leaving because no one cared. They sold some gear. They couldn't sell a ticket. And this is
since the NFL moved back in 2016, Jim Harbaugh is the biggest superstar that the market has gotten.
I will give you that. I will give you star power is there. But the Chargers aren't even viewed as theirs. They don't even look at the Chargers as their own team. In the hierarchy of needs or of appreciation in the greater LA Orange County market, the Chargers are behind both of the soccer teams. Not just one of them, both of them. The Lakers, the Clippers, the Dodgers, maybe the Chargers end up ahead of USC right now with Lincoln, but I don't even think they're ahead of
USC.
Okay, we'll give them USC. So they're fifth place in
it's
a
Dodger
market.
Town. So like if you look at the superstars, right, let's take like the face of each franchise, so to speak. Well, not pick the face you want from the Dodgers, but I mean, you could certainly obviously should go Ohtani now. So I mean, you got a sizable lead that the Dodgers do on second place. And that's because second place is LeBron James.
Right. But, Dodgers, Lakers. And that's 70% of the market right there. Right there. That's eating up.
So even if you want to give third to Kawhi and Paul George, I think Harbaugh's fourth. I mean, he's the highest. Like this is the most juice that a football, and I'm not saying it has juice, but it is the most juice that a football program has had. Because in this run, like if we maybe since LeBron, joined the Lakers, no football team, collegiate or professional, has really, held serve in Los Angeles, despite the fact that the Rams won the Super Bowl. Sean McVay is the wonderkind of the NFL, but he's not a superstar. Jim Harbaugh is a superstar. And, I actually saw a tweet too. Who's the face of college football? I know you're talking about the Chargers, but Nick Saban retired, Jim Harbaugh's gone.
Well, I know,
who's the face?
That's going to be a great conversation. In fact, we should talk about that. We saw it in college basketball, and it happened fast. We lost Roy Williams. We lost Mike Krzyzewski. We lost Boeheim. We lost the pillars. They all left fast. And the adjustment period has been kind of weird. I mean, there's a lot of good basketball still being played, but there's no Mount Rushmore out there. And now we're starting to see this in college football. And is it the same reasons? As we see college sports change, as we see the NIL arrive and paid players and all that, the differentiation between the two is not that much. Are we seeing a coalition of what head coaches do in both college and pro because of the money? Or is this just a process because the college game is so much a part of the modern NFL that college coaches are a requirement anymore? Let's talk about why that's happening coming up. We'll talk silver and black at 7 as we always do. And I have a desperate plea for the front office types from San Antonio. We'll talk about that at 7 o'clock. RJ Ochoa, Natalie attired in his Dallas Cowboy Blogging the Boys polo. I myself was comfortably in a way too long sleeve shirt. I just thought it was going to be 70 degrees and humid today. Hey, get your butts up. It's a small Friday. You're on R&R, and this is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I don't know where you're heading this week, and I don't know where you're heading for breakfast, but I have a high recommendation. I would go to San Antonio Card House. It's over on 281 in Bitters. Foster's Grill is spectacular. And if you're into the cards, if you play poker, there's no better place in San Antonio to go. Any time of day, 24 hours over the weekend, knowing full well you got everything you're chasing. You're looking for fun and rousing games. You're looking for the opportunity to win cash above and beyond your skill set with games. There's $125,000 in bonuses and party fun going on at San Antonio Card House all January. Get down there, and the more time you're there, the more opportunity you get. You're spinning the wheel. There's 2X and 3X winning for time played. There's all kind of bounties on seats all day long just for being there. My daddy always told me 90% of success is just showing up. Show up to SA Card House. You can win just for sitting there, and a lot of people have this month, and there's still time to go. The grill is spectacular. The company is there. Hey, and if you're looking for a cash game, you're one of those, you're around her. They're around. You'll feel safe. You'll feel taken care of. You'll know you're in the right place at the right time, and that's about winning winning, right? Go to SA Card House. You want to talk about winning? Talk about it over a fine meal and talk it over about with a bunch of good folks. That's what SA Card House has to offer. Head over to today, and I know you're going to be thanking me later.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on The Blitz, one big job in the NFL has been filled. What about the rest of them? Who's next?
With Harbaugh going to the Chargers, I do think the rest of the dominoes will start to fall. We'll talk about that. Plus, it was Chet versus Wemby last night, rivalry week. We have the reaction on The Blitz starting at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Get deals on what you need during MVP's bonus days at Lowe's. Right now, save $20 on select 5-gallon ceiling paint or primer by HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams. Plus, get 15% off and earn 3 times bonus points when you buy 4 or more Purdy products. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location while supplies last. Discount taken in time of purchase. See sales associate for details. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts if any. Valid 1/15 through 1/26. Subject to change.
My heart was racing just making spaghetti. I could have waited to tell my doctor, but I didn't wait.
I was short of breath just reading a book. I could have delayed telling my doctor, but I didn't wait.
They told their doctors and found out they have atrial fibrillation, a condition which makes it about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. If you have one or more of these symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness, this is no time to wait. Contact your doctor.
Brought to you by Bristol Myers Squibb.
Here from The Blitz. With the NBA season in full swing, you want in on the action? Go download the Underdog Fantasy app and start playing the Pick'em game, which is a ton of fun to play. It is fantasy, but you can win real cash money, and it is legal in Texas. Pick between 2 and 5 players to build your Pick'em entry, and all you have to do is select whether they will be higher or lower on their stats. If your picks hit, you can win up to 100 times your money. It certainly makes watching our local basketball team or your favorite players a lot more interesting. Underdog is super easy to play and get started. Download the easy-to-use mobile app or go to UnderdogFantasy.com. Sign up with my promo code STAR and Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. Plus, they'll give you a special pick of higher than half a total yard to use on your first Pick'em entry. Must be over 18 and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or go to ncpgambling.org.
With tens of thousands of satisfied patients across America, it's no surprise QC Kinetics gets 5-star reviews.
I'm feeling on top of the world because of QC Kinetics.
I'm able to do the things that I wasn't able to do for a long time.
I can recommend them highly. I would recommend QC to anybody.
QC Kinetics has changed my life.
I couldn't believe it. I honestly was skeptical, but the pain went from a 10 to a 0.
Real people with real lasting relief from joint pain.
QC Kinetics Regenerative Medicine is regenerating me.
I was super successful, and I recommend everyone seek out QC Kinetics as an alternative to surgery.
This non-surgical approach is definitely the future.
I tell as many people as possible. I am an ambassador. I love QC Kinetics.
QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in advanced regenerative medicine. No drugs, no surgery. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. 210-571-0318.
Get deals on what you need during MVP's bonus days at Lowe's. Right now, save $20 on select 5-gallon ceiling paint or primer by HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams. Plus, get 15% off and earn 3 times bonus points when you buy 4 or more Purdy products. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location while supplies last. Discount taken in time of purchase. See sales associate for details. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts if any. Valid 1/15 through 1/26. Subject to change.
If you've been injured in an accident that wasn't your fault, we have legal professionals standing by to answer your questions. They'll tell you if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-378-4750. So if you've been injured in an accident and think you deserve compensation, call now. Find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-378-4750 to speak with a live person now. Advertisement sponsored by Legal Help Center, may not be available in all states.
What does it feel like to file with TaxSlayer and get your guaranteed maximum refund? It feels like the last level of a video game, facing off against the final boss who stands between you and your refund.
All your refund is belong to me.
Using the power of TaxSlayer like a secret power-up he doesn't see coming.
Only the most tax confident can defeat me.
Throwing your laptop at his video game face and watching him crumble into a giant pile of shiny coin tax refunds.
Oh, not fair. You use TaxSlayer.
Save up to 80% when you file with TaxSlayer. Start for free.
At Lowe's, save big every day when you buy in bulk. Save 15% when you buy 4 or more Purdy paint products. And there's more. Save 10% when you buy 68 or more panels of select OSB sheathing. Visit us in-store or online for low prices on the materials you need. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details.
Hey, it's Jim Rome, and it's great to be back in San Antonio. Join me weekdays at noon on my new home, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
R&R in the morning on 94.1 San Antonio.
It's Rob and RJ. Happy Thursday. We're almost there. It's a conference championship weekend. We'll have all you need on Sunday. Our broadcast brought to you by Yingling Light. We start early and go late. Lots of stuff to talk about there. We'll be talking about the Jim Harbaugh acquisition by the Chargers all day long as well. But as he exits, so sits the college football landscape. And I don't think this is done. 3/4 of those Final Four teams lost their coaches. Saban's gone. By the way, we got some sound from remember Will Anderson?
What do you mean remember? You mean the 3rd overall pick in the draft?
That guy,
of course I remember.
He's all
you remember
pro.
The guy who was awesome on one of the surprise and amazing playoff teams a couple of weeks ago, literally last week?
He had a description of he described playing for both Saban and Ryans. It had an interesting response as to who he appreciated more, but we'll get there later. But kind of goes to show where we're living. That the college football world is changing because of the way that the college football is now played and talent acquired. And some of these coaches are just finding it ain't worth it. The old ways were just better for them. And I think some of that is Harbaugh leaving Michigan, but some of that Harbaugh loved that. He was always the one pushing the envelope. And some of it is like Saban, guys just tired, done. If Saban was to walk away 2 years ago, we would have said, yeah, we get it. I mean, you're up there, if not the best.
What do you mean? He's the GOAT. There's no question about it.
Well, I mean, we all had our generations of great coaches. I've seen guys. There's been other coaches have a run like Saban before, so he is the greatest of this generation. I'll give him that.
He's the GOAT. There's no we can say it. It's okay.
I'm not going to give him that. He is very. He's up there, and there's nobody ever been better. I'll put it. No college coach has ever been better than Nick Saban.
Then he's the GOAT.
Well, there's a lot of good. Well, if you're going to do that, I put him equal to others, though. I'd put him equal to a guy that was there before him in the same office, had the same kind of run. But what I'm saying is, that was very different football back then, and we're not going to see the likes of this for a long time. It'll happen again. There'll be a college coach that has a 10-year, 15-year run of extraordinary greatness due to his gravitas alone. But we're not there yet, and this is the best we've ever seen. But I do think the college football world used to be considered, you could make more as a college football coach.
Talking cash?
Yeah, you can get paid more as a college football coach.
Yeah.
I mean, there ain't no pro football coach ever gets $75 million to go away.
I think you can also be a bigger superstar in college.
Yes,
than the NFL.
You can.
That's why Nick Saban is the GOAT. That's why the passion, I guess, associated with college football coaches over the last 20, 25 years is a little bit different. Nobody rides for their NFL head coach in the same way. Like even the longest tenure ones. Like look at John Harbaugh. Like like Ravens fans adore him, and I'm not at all implying he's a poor coach, but like. He doesn't have the rabid loyalty that even somebody like Sark has now. I mean, you know what I mean? And obviously the sample size is incredibly different. But Sark all of a sudden is like one of the longest tenured, coaches of a blue blood. Now, like, who is the face? I mean, I have the answer. So I'm curious to see if you get it right or if you get it wrong. But Saban's out. obviously. Although I think we probably expect he'll be involved in some capacity, some sort of Manning cast. By the way, look, we'll have our airing of grievances. I don't need any more Manning casts. I don't need like former people in this line of work to watch the thing with me anymore. It was cool the first 500 times. I don't need it anymore. So I don't need a Saban cast.
Where am I going to get my half zip recommendation?
I don't need a Saban cast. But anyway, so Saban's out. Jim Harbaugh's out. Who is the face of college football?
Right now, the face of college football. To the average fan?
What?
I mean, there's passing fan, and then there's football
to Prime
fan.
Rob. There's one answer. There's a correct answer.
Well, it's unfortunately the one that comes to mind I don't like. Because the first guy that came to my mind was Dabo Swinney. And I'm like, I can't imagine that's and I don't
it's his world.
I don't think anybody in college football is happy with the fact that suddenly with the exodus of the personalities of Harbaugh and Saban, that the face of college football is Dabo, shut up, get off my lawn, Swinney, who represents everything of old and what's wrong with
you can hate it. It
college
doesn't change that it's true.
Football coaches.
He's got the personality. Granted, you may not like it. He's also got the track record and the resume, right?
What about Kirby?
Kirby doesn't have the same personality. You've got to like Kirby might have the material, you know what I mean, to work with in terms of his team, but Dabo's got the credentials right now. So Kirby has a chance, I think, to leapfrog him, but he's runner up right now. He's the proper understudy. Let's see here. We've got some comments. Momo correct says face of college football is Dabo. Pete says Kelly. Robert says Kirby Smart. So all Roberts are kind of simpatico this morning.
Well, I'm
Marco
not saying it's Dabo. It is not Kirby Smart. Kirby doesn't want to be that guy. If he wanted to be, he could be. He's got the biggest platform.
Kirby's
to do
the most
from.
Boring elite college football coach there is. I just want to be really good at this, and I don't need to entertain anybody.
I'm so glad that we've mentioned these two coaches because in my experience as being a novice half-wit sideline guy coaching, I do not proclaim to be a coach. I've been a guy who stood on the sideline with some young kids, but having been around that and been around other guys that were doing this, and I think I can extrapolate this to the broader sense of what coaches are. There's three kinds of coaches in my experience. There's
college
the
football coaches?
No, any coach. Any coach. There's three kinds. And this applies to pros. There's more of one kind than the other in the pros, and there's more than one kind than the other in college. And then there's all three. You'll find all three in the grassroots level, whether it be AAU, high school, whatever.
Are you designing the archetype that you choose?
No, this is. I think anybody who's ever played any sport. No, I'm just saying
motivator.
Kinda. But I think anybody who's ever played any sport has run into any three of these. There's one of three archetypes. There is the guy that just loves the game. There's the guy who played it, tried hard at it, learned the game, and just loves it. Is a football, basketball, baseball hound. He eats, sleeps, and drinks it and will for his entire life. There's that guy who just loves the game and will be a part of it one way or another, no matter what. Then there is the teacher, the guy who loves the game, but wants to get guys better, wants to teach and get guys better. I'm not saying that the guy that loves the game can't be that guy, but the first trait, like the first ingredient on any food, is primarily what they are.
I would amend your first one to the guy who's just obsessed with the game.
Yes,
the fundamentals of the game, the X's and the O's of the game. Okay.
Eats it, watches it, drinks it, loves stats, loves the smell of the gym, the field, everything. There's that guy. And will do anything to be a part of the game, and coaching is just one of them. And then there's the guy who is a teacher, who played the game, loves the game, but appreciates the fine tuning of the game. And that's the the tactician, the teacher, the developer. There's those guys. And then there is the leader of men. Is just,
I got you.
Well, it doesn't matter whether they're running a garage, they're running a military unit, a company, or a football team. There's a great coach in the history of San Antonio. His name was Joe Cortez. He coached out at Central Catholic High School. He was a basketball coach by trade, but one season came up and he had to coach football. So you know what he did? He got a rule book for football, and I hope I'm getting the story right. It's one sport to another, and just won a state title, never having played the game, just read the rules and went to work. That is a leader of men that will take you from places. Now, pros, sometimes you get a little of both. And normally to be a pro, you got to be all three. I mean, you have to be all three to get there, but there's a prominent skill set.
Yeah, everybody has a slant.
Right.
And to your point, obsessive strategist, so to speak, whatever, and leader of men, Bill Belichick, Pete Carroll, Jim Harbaugh. Those are your kind of faces of each mold, I think.
I think so. But the reason I'm seeing college coaches leave and head to the pros, because for the longest time, I think the prominent trait you had to have as a pro coach was leader of men. But these guys were, you had professionals who were going to spend 8 and 10 years honing their craft, that they were going to, by the time they were done, all you was getting them ready. They were already as physically as capable as they were ever going to be. Now, schemes change and ideas change, but the way that it's transmitted, the way you do it, you don't have to do that. But as we've gotten younger, and as we've skewed to 20-year-old quarterbacks in the NFL, and as we've skewed to 3 years and out, because I got to pay $50 million to my starting quarterback, I can't keep these young guys around. So I got to get a guy in here who will not only teach the game, but I got to get a rah-rah guy in. I got to get a Dan Campbell in. I got to get a guy who might not have been a functional coach back in the day. Yes. So I see the brain drain from college to pros, because I got to go get college coaches that can teach, but also get these kids motivated to go and play for a shirt.
I think all great coaches have some level of, you could call it leadership. But
all of them do, but all have a primary strength.
But you can throw a wider net around it and call it relatability. For one reason or another.
And that's the recruiting side.
Right. I mean, but if you're looking at the current landscape of the NFL, consider your 4 coaches, right? Kyle Shanahan's relatable because
the tactician.
But if you're a player in his system, he can help you thrive. He can help you get yours, so to speak.
But he's not going to make you run through a wall. He's not going to rah-rah you out the gym.
But my point is, you have to have some level of relatability, which we're talking about.
Extraordinary.
John Harbaugh might be the biggest leader of men standing of the Final Four teams in the NFL, and has kind of kept with the times. He's dancing in the locker room, right? Like he's not this old disconnected, shadow sort of a figure of a head coach. Andy Reid is also relatable in a Uncle Andy kind of way, has that vibe going on about him. Dan Campbell is clearly the most relatable. If Dan Campbell were in college, he'd be the face of college football. There's no doubt about it.
He's a rah-rah, eat him up, play for the jersey kind of guy.
The most commonly said thing about Jim Harbaugh and the new look Chargers is they won't be soft anymore. That's you look at any level of analysis right now about the Chargers and what they're going to be like under Jim Harbaugh. It's they won't be soft anymore. And that's just a twisting of this whole mindset. They will play for Jim Harbaugh. They will rally around Jim Harbaugh. They will be a more functional team, and that nets you 2.5 wins just off of that alone in some kind of loose respect. And that's why he's had success anywhere he's gone, because he can. I've always said, if you can convince 53 dudes to believe that the sky is orange, it's orange. It doesn't matter, what color it is, but if you can get 53 people, 100% of a room to believe that, that's all that really matters. And that's Jim Harbaugh's strength. But his strength is also to be a massive egotistical superstar. And I think that, operating this entire function in franchise in Los Angeles is going to help him out in that capacity.
Hey,
we're going to get overwhelmed with Jim Harbaugh this season.
I get the sense they're going to try. But
what do you mean? It's already happening. I told you the P.F. Chang story.
It's nice and hot. It is. This is a deal. And it's hot. Again, I cannot. The L.A. Chargerdom in the hierarchy of importance in that market is so far down there. The moment he starts slipping, he is going to the bottom of the hill, man. You better hold on tight.
Important question quickly from Robert in the chat. Do you think Harbaugh found out about the pending sanctions and that's why he's left? I think Harbaugh has known what's coming around the bend for a long time, and that's why he's wanted out. I mean, he wants the fame and attention, obviously, with being associated with the NFL, but there's no his penalty is going to be well, you can't coach in college football for 2 years.
I want to talk about that. That's worthy of conversation. We got silver and black coming. The Spurs go down, but Wemby wins. That is going to be a familiar refrain by the end of this season, I think. Coming back, did Harbaugh run from sanctions? And what does that tell you about the state of college football? We're talking about it next. This is Rob and RJ on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The professional football playoffs are here.
Out of the gun, back to Dak. Left side of the end zone. Touchdown.
14 teams with only one goal in sight. The big game in Las Vegas. Presented by Flight by Yingling. Hear it on your exclusive home. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
You got to be super organized to drive an electric vehicle, man. I ran it down to 0 miles remaining just as I pulled up into the parking lot.
I see 3 extension cords coupled together running several hundred feet out into a parking lot. You guys are ghetto. The whole world's going to look ghetto with these cables running around and cars slung all over the place.
The John Clay Wolf Show, every Saturday morning.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show, Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon, right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
And now a message from Puffs Plus Lotion Tissues. Ordinary tissues can leave you with a red nose, so choose Puffs Plus Lotion for all of your blows. Puffs have lotion to soothe sensitive skin, so you can wipe without wincing. It's a win-win. Puffs have cushiony thickness, which brings relief too, so the days of sore red noses are gone and through. When you're after soothing softness, a nose in need deserves Puffs indeed.
Having a job as a pet groomer can be rewarding and also messy. That's where the new Swiffer Power Mop comes in. It's an all-in-one cleaning system that cleans just as well as a mop and bucket, but in half the time and without the hassle. The large mop head is made with hundreds of powerful scrubbing strips that can break down the toughest, stickiest messes. So you can kick your old mop and bucket to the curb and mop smarter with the new Swiffer Power Mop.
If you can't sleep because of annoying knee pain, that's a problem. If you stop running because your feet always hurt, that's a problem. If your elbow, shoulder, and neck pain make it impossible for you to do your job, that is a problem, and it's time to finally do something about it. I'm Dr. Jason Garrett from Arasti. At Arasti, we fix pain fast. No medications, no injections. Arasti treatment is completely natural and non-invasive. There's a location near you. Visit Arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti, we fix pain fast.
Find LS Tractors at Dietz Tractor in Seguin, known for top performance, durability, and innovative features, and ideal for tough tasks like mowing, tilling, plowing, and hauling. LS Tractors are your reliable choice for farm, ranch, and landscaping needs. Experience unmatched dealer support at Dietz Tractor for parts and maintenance. They're not just selling tractors, they're building lasting relationships. Take advantage now. 0% financing available with approved credit on LS Tractors at Dietz Tractor in Seguin. LS Tractors, start blue, stay blue. Dietz Tractor.
Okay, everyone, gather around. It's time for corny jokes about passing the torch.
The team at Kirian's Welding was fused together solid.
Thanks for all the late nights and early shifts.
But double retirements mean the crew must bond with some certified new hires.
You've both gone the extra millimeter.
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our hiring platform instantly connects you with quality candidates, and you can schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from the Indeed dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
If you've been injured in an accident that wasn't your fault, we have legal professionals standing by to answer your questions. They'll tell you if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-378-4750. So if you've been injured in an accident and think you deserve compensation, call now. Find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-378-4750 to speak with a live person now. Advertisement sponsored by Legal Help Center. May not be available in all states.
Howdy, San Antonio. This is Andrew Monaco, and you're locked on the home of the Aggies, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hey, we're talking silver and black in just a couple of seconds. Welcome back to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. You know, the talk about Harbaugh running from imminent charges. Well, he spent 6 games of the 10 suspended, all home. Did he get to see a home game this year? No, yeah, he ran. That's one of the reasons everybody expected he was going to leave and win, lose, or draw, that there were something coming. But I'm not sure what kind of teeth were going to be inside of those things, because some of those things they're mad at, that the spy stuff, that was going to get him. The other stuff, I don't think they had any worry about taking his team.
No, the hamburger thing,
Man,
it was all silly. I mean, but there's no question there's something. There had to be somebody has to pay. You know what I mean? Right. This is somebody has to go to prison type of conversation, right? Like And so Jim's going to get a slap on the wrist. Like, again, you can't coach in college football for 5 years or whatever. I mean, that's actually probably way too long, but
they're not going to even do that, man.
It's going to be you're going to have a 10-game ban in college football, something like that. Like it's going to be nothing. I mean, where will Harbaugh coach next? Alabama. Harbaugh's going to Bama after the Chargers.
You know, it could go one of two ways. This could be a Jimmy Johnson scenario for Jim, because this is a very different NFL. I know the college kids are different, and he knows the college kids, and I think that's going to help him. But the league is not what it was. And, you know, he was a precursor to what we're seeing now. Kaepernick running around doing what he did looks a lot like what we're watching now, right? Heck of a coach. The effects will be felt. We're talking about all that, but soon enough, we're talking about a Spurs loss and a Wemby win. Silver and black conversation coming up next. Go get your popcorn. It's going to be fun.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on The Blitz, one big job in the NFL has been filled. What about the rest of them? Who's next?
With Harbaugh going to the Chargers, I do think the rest of the dominoes will start to fall. We'll talk about that. Plus, it was Chet versus Wemby last night. Rivalry week. We have the reaction on The Blitz starting at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
My friend and I are taking a trip to Mexico this year, but neither of us speak Spanish. So we downloaded Babbel and started learning Spanish fast.
Want to start getting conversational in another language in as little as 3 weeks? Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons were designed by language experts to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com.
Psst, hey, Mark, remember, getting help from Progressive is so easy. You can use the mobile app, chat with online. Now to tell me. I couldn't miss Little Grace's ballet recital. Oh, thanks for inviting me, by the way.
Did I?
Because you know I'm always here for you.
Yeah. I can use the mobile app if I need help. Sorry, you're in my wife's seat, though.
Oh, yeah, I gotta go anyway. Tell Grace she nailed her chassé.
Get the help you need from Progressive with our mobile app, online chat, or over the phone. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
What does it feel like to file with TaxSlayer and get your guaranteed maximum refund? It feels like the last level of a video game, facing off against the final boss who stands between you and your refund.
All your refund is belong to me.
Using the power of TaxSlayer like a secret power-up he doesn't see coming.
Only the most tax confident can defeat me.
Throwing your laptop at his video game face and watching him crumble into a giant pile of shiny coin tax refunds.
Oh, not fair. You use TaxSlayer.
Save up to 80% when you file with TaxSlayer. Start for free.
At Lowe's, save big every day when you buy in bulk. Save 15% when you buy 4 or more Purdy paint products. And there's more. Save 10% when you buy 68 or more panels of select OSB sheathing. Visit us in-store or online for low prices on the materials you need. Because Lowe's knows savings, Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details.
Kelley Blue Book is the one-stop shop for pricing, fixing, selling, and instant cash offering. Instant Cash Offer is exactly what it sounds like. An official offer to buy or trade your car. Just enter your VIN or license plate, answer a few questions about your car's history, and what kind of condition it's in. In minutes, you'll receive an offer to sell or trade your car that you can be sure is fair. Then choose a dealer to purchase your car and schedule a time to meet. For all of the its, KBB.com.
And now a message from Puffs Plus Lotion Tissues. Ordinary tissues can leave you with a red nose, so choose Puffs Plus Lotion for all of your blows. Puffs have lotion to soothe sensitive skin, so you can wipe without wincing. It's a win-win. Puffs have cushiony thickness, which brings relief too, so the days of sore red noses are gone and through. When you're after soothing softness, a nose in need deserves Puffs indeed.
We're here with Jose Rios, attorney at the Gomez Law Firm. If you are injured in an accident or hit by a company vehicle, Jose, what's the first thing our listeners should do?
The first thing they should do is pick up the phone, call the Gomez Law Firm, or Google JoeGomezLaw.com.
Gomez Law has been protecting the people of our community for almost 50 years. They're the leader in personal injury law.
We do ride-sharing cases. We do carbon monoxide cases, 18-wheeler cases. Obviously, we've done those for very many years. Work injuries.
But that's not all your firm does, Jose. Tell us a little more about other cases Gomez Law takes on and wins here in Texas.
Really anything that involves a personal injury and a third party that is responsible for causing that injury, we will be happy to take a look at and see if we can help.
If you have been injured in an accident or hit by a company vehicle, then you need to visit joegomezlaw.com.
And remember, Gomez Law fights.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
This is Jim Rome. Have a take, don't suck on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, KTFM, Floresville.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
In the NFL, his name is Mike Slowick, and he is a candidate for many a job. He's been with the Houston Texans for the last couple of years and has raised C.J. Stroud to new levels. The Atlanta Falcons might be hiring him. Or will it be the Washington Commanders? Harbaugh's with the Chargers. Who's next? This is 94 Sports Star.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
This is R&R in the morning.
Man in motion, handoff, Pollard coming right. Bang, zoom, touchdown Cowboys.
Wemby about 3 feet behind the line. Got it.
It's R&R in the morning with Rob Thompson and the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, RJ Ochoa.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning to you. It's Rob and RJ on a small Friday. Welcome to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. We do it every day at 7 o'clock. It's our silver and black. Make sure you are subscribed to such things so you get the notifications as appropriate. And tell a friend because it's good for everybody. Last night wasn't good for anybody but Victor Wembanyama. He did win the matchup, but he lost the war as the Spurs gave up 77 points in the second half, allowed the Oklahoma City Thunders to score a season-high 140 points. Spurs managed 114, and there goes the game. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was the MVP caliber, played extraordinarily well, 32 and 10. He became the fourth player in the Thunder Supersonics history. It's weird to say. With back-to-back 30 and 10, joining Russell, Gary Payton, and the great Lenny Wilkins. Spurs got down late at the first and never could break through that 13 to 15 point line. And by the end of the game, it was scrubs playing on scrubs, so I don't really count that. But they were competitive yet again, and I guess that's a moral victory. And we can walk away today, RJ, with Wemby, standing tall. He went at it and played well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how. I go back and forth. I mean, on the one hand, the patient part of me, the I guess rational part of me is saying, hey, Wemby played great. Lots to like. Blake played great. No trade in lieu of Trey Jones.
Yeah.
Right. You can find things to hang your hat on, but the losing's starting to get really annoying. The losing's starting to be this battle of attrition that I think we've been very, 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 very patient. And you know what? You already tanked. You already got the generational superstar. The part that's supposed to suck already sucked and should be in the past. And so I recognize that Oklahoma City looks like one of the best teams in the NBA right now. And so, you have to have some moderate expectations, but, be a little bit more competitive. This was over, halfway through the third? I mean, that's, you never want that. That was disappointing.
Yeah, the 70 points in the second half. And you could look for individual issues. Jeremy Sohan didn't score to the second half, but there was a concerted effort, I think, to keep him off the boards. And, they got out-rebounded by about 10. Fast breaks to death, had 18 turnovers. They let them shoot nearly 45% from three and over 50% from the field. Spurs shot 50%, but they were like 9 of 20 from three. They couldn't shoot. The offense was always just kind of disrupted by the physicality of Oklahoma City. Dagnall, I hate to go, but I guess that's how we pronounce it. Mike Dagnall, the head coach, OKC, he's got him a squad, man. This team looks very much like Denver in 20. You can see it coming. They're not far away from being legitimately undefeated at home, winning 50% on the road, just because they have every attribute that is required to win big games. They've got big players, they got big shooters, they've got good defense, they've got an adequate bench, and they can shoot. I mean, that's a very good team. So losing to a team like that, home or on the road's not, but we made them look better because our transition defense is just so bad. So awful. And is it because there's just so many rotations that they just don't know? Or is it just so they just don't have it? But there is just not a lot of want-to on defense, and there hasn't been all year. Last night, individually, you have one little lapse, and they just never could come back from it. Just can't. They don't know how to stop teams.
This is a frustrating question to think about, but so Wemby exists in a category of his own, right? We can acknowledge that. We don't have to compare anybody to him in any way, shape, or form. Who's the best defensive player on the Spurs? Who's the best defensive non-Wemby player on the Spurs?
Non-Wemby? Well, I was told it was Devin Vassell as our best perimeter defender, and I'm starting to wonder. Not that he's not good, but there's not a lot of good on ball. We don't close out on three-point shooters for whatever reason. We just need to leave guys wide open. And at some point, these guys aren't foolish. They know that that's their guy standing way out there.
Rob, there's a great question in the chat here from Antonio. It's a great but really kind of rattling sort of question. Don't look at the chat. Okay, I want to see your face when I tell it to you. Antonio Williams says, if Wemby was not on this team, would they still have the same record? That is a super depressing question.
No.
What do you mean no?
It would be worse. I mean, we could it be? We only have what do we have? 8 wins?
Yes.
Well, I can give 2 of them directly to Wemby, especially the first one. I mean, we'd be equally as bad.
They would have the same record.
He is absolutely right. But that's the strange thing about this year. This is and he hit on the very issue that we're going to be dealing with for the rest of the year. If you're so good, why aren't we better? And the numbers are ridiculous. Wemby recorded his 7th game of 20 and 10 and 4, the most by any rookie since Tim Duncan in 97. Why aren't we better?
You familiar with the tungsten arms or whatever tweet about Ohtani and Mike Trout? Are you familiar with?
Whenever
with
it comes to tweets, just assume I'm not.
Well, there's a tweet that would percolate a lot. Obviously, Ohtani and Mike Trout were amazing players for the Angels. And so there's this tweet that I think was originally tweeted like 2 years ago that was like, every time, I'm paraphrasing because I don't know that off the top of my head, but it's like, I see tweets all the time. This person said, I see tweets all the time where it's like, Ohtani and Mike Trout both accomplished X, Y, and Z. This hadn't been done in the history of baseball since the tungsten arms did it in 1941. All while the Angels lost 13-3 to the Tigers or something like that. So it was just like this like otherworldly individual performances while the team lost. And that's what your Wemby thing that you just read kind of feels like. I'm not poo-pooing it. I'm not disappointed by it. I'm enjoying it. I'm trying to be patient about the whole process. But at a certain point, it starts to ring a teeny bit hollow when all these cool things are happening, but they can't stack up the wins. And this is an unfair moment to have that conversation because
it's a very fair moment.
Is so. Well, I'm saying relative to Oklahoma City because Oklahoma City, I don't expect them to beat that team.
Okay, so we expect the Spurs to be following the same process that OKC was on. Acquire a crap load of draft picks. Maybe one of them falls into your lap like Shai Gilgeous. You draft yourself an all-NBA guy. You get a top number 1 pick for Chet. You get a J. Will that falls into your lap. And suddenly you've got a much more talented team, maybe a year faster than you expected, although you had to deal with homework.
But
what I'm saying is
that's just hope.
No,
not
you're right. But look at the Spurs starting 5 versus the OKC starting 5. And look at their 5 and look at the Spurs starting 5 and go, who on the Spurs could beat out any of their 5? And there's one guy. We have one guy. It would be 1 Spur and 4 OKC guys if we were having a you pick shirts and skins draft. I mean, they would take.
I understand your point, but
they're deeper and better.
That's fine, and that is not understandable or not understandable. But okay, so you run into 10 games against Thunder quality teams, right? At a certain point, you've got to win 1 or 2. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get your point, your philosophical point of you're up against it. You're just outmatched. You're 5 against their 5. You're only winning 20% of these battles. But at a certain point, the 20. Well, I mean, that's
hopefully, right.
I mean, that's just math.
I
don't
know. But it sounds awful.
It didn't seem like you knew. It seemed like you were a little bit.
No,
stunned
that's what the Spurs are doing. I mean, it's 20%.
No,
but yeah.
But so like you have to. It has to be enough one time. Like the sheer just probability of it all is that at one time
you'll fall ass backwards
enough.
into one. At one time, the team's gonna have an off night. You'll have a good one in any given time. I get what you're saying. But this is the NBA.
Mathematical probability of it being enough one time, finally, at some point, randomly, like outweighs this. Like you're actually defying odds at this point to be this. It's statistically difficult to be this consistently bad, and that's where the Spurs are at.
But they're not alone in this.
Despite the fact that you have a generational player who's playing like a generational player, it's not like he's supposed to be this generational player, and he's not playing that way. You mentioned it. What was the stat you just pulled? You ripped off 20, 10, and 4?
20, 10, and 4 hadn't been done by a rookie since 97 with 10.
What? Like,
why aren't we winning? Why aren't we better? We're not good enough. And we just had a
Spurs record was through 44 games.
Well, that, 97 standing next to David Robinson, it was a whole lot better.
I know, but what do you think it was?
I don't know. Probably won 20 games, 21 games by then.
Through 40 games, they were
22, 23.
I'm sorry, 44. I don't know why I said 40. They were they'd won 30 games.
30 games.
They were 30.
Yeah. Different league, different time. But and then there's another part of the scroll, though, that is Pop coaching differently because of Wemby. Absolutely. They're still not trying to win games. They're trying to get Wemby better. That's a big difference. There's still the attempt to win games is secondary to improving the individual skill sets of the guys. Wemby first, but others second. Pop is coaching very differently with Wemby out there, because I think a lot of this is a lot of this team ain't going to be around long. All those draft picks, whether they're used or traded, are going to turn into other guys at some point, and we're going to go get guys to replace the guys we got. They know it, we know it.
The whole thing, Bucks, and this is all part of. I think these are natural reactions to reach a point of frustration, and then you calm down and you reach a point of understanding of the overall goal. But again, it bucks conventional wisdom. It bucks the idea of tanking. And I know that there's a conversation that has been had forever at this point. But so, again, in a philosophical sort of setting, you tank, you get the great player, and then you don't suck anymore, right? Like, you get the great player.
That's what it used to be.
That's why you tanked. Like, name the team that tanks, gets the great player, and then says, well, we have to still suck to, like, help him not suck in the future.
It was Philly a couple of times. I mean, that's why you hate the process, because it didn't work. It still hasn't worked. But I'll put it to you that the Spurs, when I see them against Oklahoma City, and I say they are 3 years ahead of where the Spurs are from the time they began their particular tanking. The year after the last vestiges of the big three were gone there, when Russell was gone and the trades were done. That year after Chris Paul took them to the playoffs, Shea was coming up, and they became something different. So they're ahead of the Spurs. Now, when I look at the talent that is standing next to Wemby, it is so evident that they are so out-talented at every position every night that I have to question the group. And now is the time to consider not Pop in the future, because we got to know that the fuse is about to burn out.
Yeah,
whether it's this year, next year, 3 years maybe, but it's almost over. But for the long-term sustaining of this roster, I put it to you today. It is the 25th of January. It is time to find another general manager. It is time to find another GM. I'm not saying that Wright has to leave, but I'm saying in the seat that he is sitting, he is not appropriate. The talent that he's had an opportunity to go get that he has missed, from a Duran kid that we watched wipe the floor with our front 3 or 4 the other night with Detroit that he passed on, to other talent that and others that he brought in. There's a guy that's playing for the Clippers now that should have never, ever been a Spur, ever. And he brought him in. There's another guy he drafted that isn't even in the freaking league anymore, and he drafted him in front of Keldon, who fell into his lap. It is time for Brian Wright to move aside, whether it's fired or given another, because he's been a good soldier, but his acquisition in there. And I don't care who's been a part of it. I don't care if RCA played a role in it. It is time to find somebody to start stocking these shelves, because it was so painfully apparent from 1 through 10 that Oklahoma City, though only a couple of years ahead of the Spurs, are so desperately deeper. That is the fundamental. You ask, is Pop coaching differently? Because he knows what's here ain't going to be here. And he knows what he's got does not measure up.
Relative to recent history, his greatest accomplishment is winning the lottery. Is that fair to say?
Yes, certainly.
So I mean, and this isn't a fair analogy, but is a Wall Street trader elite at their craft because they won the actual lottery, not the NBA lottery? You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh, you luck. It's luck. That is luck.
That's my point, though. Like, if you're seeking financial advice and you have 2 Wall Street dudes to kind of choose from, and one guy's like, I've been trading for whatever. I've built, I've
made my
got,
bones, yeah.
I watched The Big Short, 16 times. I know what I'm doing here. And the other guy's like, well, I want some scratch offs.
Right.
So
my daddy died and left me some money, and I put it into real estate and made a killing.
I do not mean to make it seem like that's all that's happened here, but you know what I'm saying? If the greatest accomplishment that's happened here in this new era is winning the lottery, is that really an accomplishment?
Exactly. At some point, I know that you've been given a tough hand, but you did get Wemby. But by the time we got him, we thought that there would be guys already here ready to prop him up and help him. One of them is now coming off the bench, and one of them has a game stat sheet from night to night like an EKG. And one of them kept hanging brain in front of people and had to go leave. One of them ain't even in the league anymore. These guys that you went and got in preparation for the hope, the dream, and we knew we were chasing Wemby 4 years ago. We knew it. We knew who he was. He was 16 and he was 7 feet tall, and we knew his home address. This was a plan, and it didn't work out. The guest arrived, but the house wasn't ready.
Ooh, that's always awkward. You're in real trouble when that happens.
When I see Oklahoma City on rivalry week, when the NBA tells us these are the people we're telling you the rivalry, you're not even close. Your best guy outplayed them. Good news. It'll be enough reason for us to broadcast it again. But guess what? We're going to kick your ass every time you roll up here.
I think the whole situation is sort of exemplified. And to be clear, my primary want and wish and concern is not Wemby winning Rookie of the Year, but that matters. That matters to me as a Spurs fan.
It does
right?
matter.
Like I really want that.
Yes.
We all really want that. And it bothers me greatly that the overwhelming argument for Wemby, which exists and is factual, is completely objective, but that is so drowned out by the lack of team success. Mm-hmm. And Chet, who is very clearly, a separate league away from Wemby on an individual basis, has the team propping him up. That bothers me greatly. That you're almost hindering. You're actually hindering him. You're limiting his, I don't want to say potential, but you're limiting what he can be in an overall sense by going about it this way.
You know what? You put it so perfectly. Let me give you a classic example. If I was Wemby's guy, if I was his coach, his mentor, his, guy on his shoulder, and I started the season as a rookie, and I looked at this starting five, and you told me that my kid, my guy, the guy that is going to change my future, my life, and my kid's future, because I'm friends and part of Wemby's universe. You are starting his career with Jeremy Sohan as his point guard. So you're telling me that the future is coming to you, and you have a guy who can't even deliver the mail. You got a guy who isn't even going to be able to give him a bounce pass coming around a curl because he's doing something he's never done before. So you're telling me you're going to take care. You better take damn care of him. You better sit him down and rest him, because this season is a wash if my guy is the recipient of Jeremy Sohan at point guard. You're hamstringing him. He's already playing with one 5-foot arm behind his back. That's what you're doing to my future, not just the Spurs' future. You're wasting him. And for 20 games, we watched him run around with a point guard who couldn't freaking find him for an alley-oop. He's 7'5".
I think that there's cliche conventional wisdom that's like, well, like you said, it's obviously, Philly, it's a process. Like,
the clock is ticking for all of us.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't have to be like, there's not one way to do this. Like, you don't have to do it the way that X team did or Y team did at this point in NBA history or whatever. Like, you have the resources, you have the abilities. We can rebuild. We have the technology. Like, you have everything at your disposal. You can fast track this like you want. You can trade for Trae Young right now. And to your point, all of a sudden, Wemby's life gets significantly different and significantly better because all of a sudden he's playing with somebody who can dish it to him in different ways that Jeremy just simply cannot. And I hate for Jeremy because, what I hate for
Jeremy too.
No, that's exactly what I'm about to say. I hate that for him. What you just said is very fair, as unfortunate as it is. But now you're just making everybody look bad. You know what I'm saying? Because it's obvious that Wemby's limited. And it's not Jeremy's fault that he's not Trae Young, you know what I mean? Or whoever the case may be. And so you're hindering the overall product. You're creating dysfunction. That's a heavy word to use, but it is kind of dysfunctional at this point. You're creating dysfunction where it doesn't otherwise have to be. You don't have to wait till June to make a move. You don't. You can do it now. There's no rule against it. You can completely do it now. Like, just pick up the phone, send a text message, slide into a DM, do something, get Wemby some help. We're way past the point where it's justifiable now.
At 8 o'clock, we're going to talk about the Spurs again. And I think we have an answer for you. I think there is an available answer, or soon to be available answer.
Ooh.
That might very well be the fix.
Put the menu together. He's about to cook.
Chef
Rob RD in the building.
There might be something in the cupboard. We're going to talk about that at 8. But coming back, got a good question for you. As it appears, we're going to have a brand new coaching quarterback tandem in the NFL that's going to be worthy of watch. Justin Herbert's finally got him a coach who understands the value and can use a quarterback of Herbert's ilk. Do you trust this new matchup more or less than the retread redo McCarthy-Dak? What do you expect from both? Let's talk about this, because this is one of those.
You're feeling yourself too much with these Wemby takes. Oh, my gosh.
This is one of those that I think when you look in the mirror and you tell yourself the truth, might ruin your day. We're going to talk about that next.
Oh, my goodness.
I
might not.
Rob and RJ, you're on San Antonio Sports Star. That's 94.1 FM to you and me. As you sit comfortably with a Connecticut water softened shower in your home, you can stay worry-free. I was on my way home yesterday, and a listener found me through a DM and dropped, said, what's that company? It's funny. It's Connecticut. And he said, I live on a well too. Tell me about this water softening company. So I told him, Connecticut, all the stuff that you're hearing from me right now. And he goes, I'm calling them right now because X, Y, and Z, the same things I said. He had a plumber come out. He'd had a leak in his sink, and he's new to San Antonio. And they pulled his faucet off, and that little aerator thing was so jammed full of, I forget the word he used, but crap, that he couldn't believe it. He didn't know that what I was talking about was real. So immediately he's calling Connecticut. He's a little late on that, but now the fix is in place. His water's going to taste better. That white stuff that he was seeing on his dishes, that's going to be gone. His hair's going to look better. His skin's going to not be so dry. And you eliminate the worry. And he's got 90 days to find out exactly what I've been saying. And if he's not, finds out that what I've told him ain't true, they'll come and get it and take it away. Because Connecticut right now, if you'll dial 656 Pure, they'll come and put a water softener in your home for the next 90 days just so you can find out if I'm telling you the truth. And I am. And on that 91st day, you're going to be just like me, a Kinetico customer. Go to KineticoSA.com for all the details, but know this. If it's time for a water softener, call them. If you've already got one and you're not happy with it, don't look at your pipes. It might scare you. Better call them. That's Kinetico. KineticoSA.com for details. 656 Pure to get it. You can thank me later.
The NFL playoffs are here.
Read all about it, baby. One last drive.
Wild card, divisional, conference championship, and Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas. Hear it on your exclusive home for the NFL playoffs and the Super Bowl. 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right. Get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit, hims.com/joy.
Transforming your health isn't easy, but at the Y, you'll find friendly staff and neighbors ready to support you and cheer you on every step of the way. Find your motivation and join today. Learn more at ymcasatx.org. Find your Y this year at YMCA San Antonio. Happy New Year.
My friend and I are taking a trip to Mexico this year, but neither of us speak Spanish. So we downloaded Babbel and started learning Spanish fast.
Want to start getting conversational in another language in as little as 3 weeks? Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons were designed by language experts to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com.
Paid for by Wesley Financial Group. Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
It is time to play Pass the Pigskin for a chance to win $5,000 cash and tailgate prize packs. Celebrate with Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds by entering the Pork Rind Appreciation Day giveaway at porkrindappreciationday.com. That's porkrindappreciationday.com. And don't forget to pick up your favorite bold flavored protein packed Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds today at HEB.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Hi,
I'm Jason Thompson. I'm a personal injury attorney, and since 1994, I've been helping people and their families seriously injured or killed by negligent drivers. My website is alawyer4us.com. I use that phrase because I know that there's no way a regular San Antonian can possibly beat a billion-dollar insurance company alone. You will need an experienced attorney to stand up for you and get what you and your family deserve. This month, my father will retire after 50 years of practicing law, doing what he taught me to do, help people in need. Stand up for the people that cannot. Use the skills you have to help the people in your community win and where you can. When an insured driver seriously injures someone, a billion-dollar insurance company uses everything it can to pay as little as possible. Every insurance company you have heard of has a very large staff of attorneys already working against you. If you or a family member has been seriously injured because of a negligent driver, call me, Jason Thompson, as soon as you can after a collision. My number is 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400. Or check out my website, alawyer4us.com.
R&R in the morning on 94.1 San.
Remind everybody to go to sasportstar.com. We got some Willie Barcena tickets we're going to give away. We're going to do that in the 8 o'clock hour, about 8:30. He's coming to the Aztec. A funny guy. He will be here on February the 2nd next week. So be here in an hour. Don't leave, RJ.
I'm not going anywhere.
So Harbaugh is the head coach of the. When you think Jim Harbaugh, and what's the thing that comes to mind? Do you think offensive guru? You think defensive mind? What do you think when his style? I mean, we have to only San Francisco to base ourselves on, and in the pro game, what immediately hits you?
Attitude.
Mm-hmm.
There are cockroach teams that just don't die. I mean, that just find a way, and that's a real sports cliche type of thing to say, but it's true. I mean, I don't think of any. I mean, people remember Colin Kaepernick, obviously, and I don't think Jim Harbaugh has ever gotten enough credit for the gutsiness of that decision. To properly rewind here, Jim Harbaugh's first season in San Francisco was 2011, and his first loss was to Tony Romo in the punctured lung game.
That's right.
So everybody is fully aware. All the rib stuff and lung stuff, it was just crazy chaos. That was the Jesse Holley game, but they went to the NFC Championship game, and he revived Alex Smith's career. Everybody thought that Alex was a loser and just kind of an awful, draft pick, et cetera, et cetera. And they lost the NFC title game to the Giants. And a year later, Alex Smith, I think it was a concussion that he was dealing with in the middle of the season. And he decided to turn to the second round pick, of what was it? That second round pick at that point in Colin Kaepernick. And just, I mean,
changed the game.
This was 11 years ago now. And so maybe the younger audience doesn't remember. They were unstoppable.
Yeah,
that was an unstoppable offense. This was right around when Cam Newton was kind of taking over the NFL. This happened in parallel with RG3's rookie season, the read option, the RPO stuff. Kaepernick was incredible. I mean, just truly, truly, truly. But my point is, like, the guts to leave Alex Smith on the bench, the dude who you had revived, the dude who, had won all these games for you, and to go with Colin Kaepernick. And they were amazing.
Can we say that he's won despite the quarterbacks he's had? Because Alex Smith was Joe Average, the Mendoza line of starting quarterbacks for a long time with Kansas City. Not bad, not horrible.
Alex really turned a corner.
He did.
He was a top 12 quarterback.
Yeah, but he was just average. He wasn't going to screw things up. He was the prototypical game manager. That was his game. That's what he was in Kansas City, and Harbaugh got him. And he did the same thing with it. To put Kaepernick in, and remember, Kaepernick was he had a skill set unlike anybody else in the NFL. He wasn't a cannon arm, accurate needle threader. That wasn't his game, but he was a mobile dude that made plays a lot of different ways. And Harbaugh, capitalized on that. But I don't think of him when we're talking about two different quarterbacks, successful two different ways. Yet I don't really think of Harbaugh as a quarterback guy. Like he's the whisperer. He's the guy like Andy Reid. He goes someplace with a quarterback, and the quarterback and he go places. That's not Harbaugh's style.
No, but I mean, he had two great quarterbacks. I mean, I don't want to overlook.
No. What I'm saying is did he make them great or make them capable, or were they already capable and he just built a team around their capabilities?
I mean,
because it's two different styles.
Alex Smith was awful before Jim. I mean, Jim got the best out of Alex, and then he went to Kansas City and hooked up with Andy Reid and was still serviceable. But Colin Kaepernick never really had the same success after Jim Harbaugh. And so like the common denominator between them in terms of, starting up prominently in the NFL is Jim. And it's not just the quarterbacks. I mean, like Justin Herbert is easily the most talented quarterback that Jim Harbaugh will have ever worked with in the NFL.
By far. But so how do you expect them to be used is where I'm getting. Is it going to be?
I think they're going to be a lot tougher. I mean, I don't know that Austin Eckler will be back.
I don't see him as their back. No, he's not a guy that's a hardball back to me.
Their defense will be a lot. Like, that's the other thing. I mean, their quarterback situation was interesting, but it was really successful. They had Frank Gore to kind of pound the rock and move on and on. They had They had Michael Crabtree early on. They had Vernon Davis. But that defense, those San Francisco defenses at that time were just otherworldly. And that's why those games against Seattle were so great, the back-to-back title games they played in. But
we talked about coming in. Who do you trust more?
This is the worst question you've ever come up with. This is silly, ridiculous, and
I stole it as all. But seriously, we do have an MVP candidate. Miles thrown, very few interceptions. If we're just talking about output, I obviously go with the experience. I go with what I know. I don't see any reason for Dak to drop off as far as numbers go. You want to talk about trust? They're going to win the same number of games. Yeah,
so you trust Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott more than you trust Jim Harbaugh.
Why would you trust Harbaugh and Herbert? Why? I know both of them individually had a modicum of success, but neither.
The answer is that Justin Herbert has shown immense talent in the NFL, and that Jim Harbaugh has only succeeded in the NFL. I mean, so this is like I got peanut butter on one bread, I got jelly on the other. How do I trust that the sandwich is going to be good? I mean, that's the question you're asking. And so it's logical to conclude it. But now the negative side of that is, well, you got to go up against Patrick Mahomes twice a year. You know who it really sucks to be today? Sean Payton.
Yes.
Sean Payton's like, man, I jump back a year too early. Like, now it's colder here. You know what I mean? Like, I have to pretend that I enjoy the outdoor activities of living in Denver. I don't like hiking. I don't like, kayaking and all this stuff. I would much rather be in Los Angeles. I would much rather be, sunny SoCal. I would much rather be working with Justin Herbert. This was the job he wanted so badly, and he completely and totally miscalculated. You really do hate to see it.
And he's got a quarter where he would have had his dream quarterback there. You wonder, as we talk about Peyton making a decision a year too early, Harbaugh looked like he'd been aiming for the Chargers. That this was something that was coming.
This worked out so well for him. Yeah. I mean, he wanted the Minnesota job 2 years ago when he went to Kevin O'Connell. Would you rather have that job right now or the Chargers job?
The same reasons you were talking about. Sunny, I'm in LA. No, I'd rather have the Chargers.
It also worked out for him in that he stayed at Michigan then, because he got to win the national championship, right? That wouldn't have happened if he left 2 years ago. But I do want to break down the question you asked, which you didn't audibly ask, but was, who do you trust more, Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott, or Jim Harbaugh and Justin Herbert? We have a new team. The Rob Bandits are our team. Okay. Congratulations. Team owner, president, general manager. Those are the roles that you serve. Also sanitation. Who would you rather be your head coach, Mike McCarthy or Jim Harbaugh? For the Bandits. These are the Rob Bandits, baby.
New coach?
It's Jim Harbaugh. I'd rather have Jim Harbaugh. That's the answer.
I'm not going to. I think I'd go with McCarthy.
I think you're wrong.
No, I mean, for a lot of reasons.
The Bandits that you made this decision.
Because
Jim Harbaugh.
I'll tell you, now, if you're asking me the Jim Harbaugh 10 years ago versus the Mike McCarthy 10 years ago, I don't know. But right now, given the NFL, given what I know, this is not the same league for Harbaugh. There's some things he's going to have to deal with that he didn't have to deal with before. And I know McCarthy has a lot of failings, but I know this: the moment McCarthy leaves the Cowboys, somebody's going to hire him within a week.
That's so not true.
Oh, it is not. It is true. He'll get a job fast. He will. The guy has a winning record in the NFL, and just for the numbers, if I got a quarterback that's halfway, he will take me someplace. He will. Now, there's other things that I would want to put around him, but right now, I'm not happy about the decision that I would make, because I'm not I just don't know about
So you don't
long
even
term
believe
with
in your own
Harbaugh.
decision making. How are the Bandit fans feeling that not even
But
the team
I would
owner,
take
president,
the
and general
known-
manager believes in the decision he's making?
Right now, if you told me it's just those two,
I'd take Harbaugh.
I'd take McCarthy because he's got, for me, a little bit more of a track record into what I'm doing currently.
We have established a championship program. It's just not the world
And
championship.
yeah, we're just we're just a couple of big games away from being nearly a championship team that I've already got the trophy. I just haven't gotten it engraved
We would
yet.
have a Super Bowl. That's really how I feel about this. But so I would take, obviously, Jim Harbaugh over Mike McCarthy. But I would take Dak Prescott over Justin Herbert. I know that Joe Reinagle just lost it wherever he is, but like I know that Joe doesn't want to atone for his super incorrect opinion at the San Antonio Sports Star, house in Oxnard. That's fine, Joe, if you want to keep hiding under a rock. But I would much rather have Dak Prescott than Justin Herbert.
Well, if you like Dak Prescott, he might very well be here a while. What are you going to think if they go ahead and extend that quarterback and you get to see some Dakness for the next 5 years? Let's talk about the possibility coming up. This is Rob and RJ. You're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on The Blitz, one big job in the NFL has been filled. What about the rest of them? Who's next?
With Harbaugh going to the Chargers, I do think the rest of the dominoes will start to fall. We'll talk about that. Plus, it was Chet versus Wemby last night, rivalry week. We have the reaction on The Blitz starting at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack. I didn't want to call Bobo and have to have a confrontation.
Just make a change?
Yeah, because you're so bitchy.
We do it all the time.
You're so bitchy, Bobo.
You always
do you
want to
realize how bitchy you are? And I don't want to fight with you.
You calling me bitchy would be like me calling you a fat bastard. That's projection, dude.
The John Clay Wolf Show, every Saturday morning.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show, Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon, right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
Over the past decade, the Roo Pub has proven to be the best place to watch games with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. Football, basketball, all the UFC fights. And when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and the best place to watch a game. Celebrating 10 years in business, the Roo Pub is next to the Angry Elephant there at 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be low testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The patented key ingredient is something called Testofen, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text CAR to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text CAR to 42424. That's CAR to 42424.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
Jim Gaffigan here with some more straight talk. Let's take a moment to appreciate our sweet children, loving grandparents, and eternal soulmates. Now let's use them to save money on wireless. Because with the Straight Talk Silver Plan, you get 4 lines for just $25 a month with unlimited data and no contracts. Thanks, kids. They're finally worth it.
And now get a Samsung Galaxy A14 included when you buy an extended Silver Unlimited plan. Find us at straighttalk.com. For data management practices and additional terms, visit straighttalk.com. Device offer ends 4/14/24. Online only, excludes taxes and fees.
My doctor told me my blood pressure is borderline. I figured I could worry about it or do something about it. So I took control with Garlic Healthy Blood Pressure Formula. It works safely and naturally to help maintain healthy blood pressure with a custom blend of garlic, vitamins, and minerals. And it's odor-free. I'm taking charge with Garlic Healthy Blood Pressure Formula.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The term natural references only the garlic in the product. Use as directed.
Hi, I'm Jason Thompson. I'm a personal injury attorney, and since 1994, I've been helping people and their families seriously injured or killed by negligent drivers. My website, alawyerforus.com. I use that phrase because I know that there's no way a regular San Antonian can possibly beat $1 billion insurance company alone. You will need an experienced attorney to stand up for you and get what you and your family deserve. This month, my father will retire after 50 years of practicing law, doing what he taught me to do. Help people in need. Stand up for the people that cannot. Use the skills you have to help the people in your community when and where you can. As my father told me a long time ago, insurance companies are not trying to get to heaven. They're trying to make a profit. You cannot blame a lion for being a lion. Hire a hunter to help you. That's me. If you or a family member has been seriously injured because of a negligent driver, call me, Jason Thompson, as soon as you can after the collision. My number, 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400. Or check out my website, alawyerforus.com.
Some of those old injuries, they begin to creep up and things begin to start hurting again. I finally got to the point where I'm like, I can't just wake up and know my knee's going to be bothering me and push through this on a daily basis.
Old football injuries can't keep former college and pro football player Bobby Carpenter down. So he decided to check out the all-natural regenerative pain treatments at QC Kinetics.
I was fortunate enough to obviously sit down with QC and kind of understand your body still has the ability to heal in it. We just need to give it a little bit of a boost.
Exactly. QC Kinetics concentrates your body's own healing agents in your painful hips, shoulders, knees, or back.
Everyone can say, well, you need to replace this or replace that, but it's no surprise to see people being willing to try this first, especially when it has such great results.
QC Kinetics treatments take place the same day right in the office. No downtime. Call today for your complimentary consultation and see if you're a good candidate.
Call QC Kinetics, 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. 210-571-0318.
Hi, it's James Dominic. You're listening to the home of the Cowboys, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Good morning to you. Go watch us live. SASportsStar.com. So we've talked a lot about the week that kept Mike McCarthy and the questions that's soon to follow. Dak Prescott, we've known for years, is due an extension and a big one. A lot of money coming. But after what happened after one game, the last game, it doesn't look like that this marriage is going to last a long time. Certainly not as long as we'd hoped. Or we might need some therapy. What if we were to awake tomorrow and see that the first step in the Dallas Cowboys' future was to include Dak in it by giving him a long-term extension, which would provide salary cap relief for them to go get some guys, but it would also tie them to a guy that most of us think needs to be someplace else.
I don't think that, to be clear. I think that the timelines involved are delicate and are now at a asking these questions. Talked about that in a video up on the Blog on the Boys YouTube channel, but I know we've been talking about it all week, but you're so deep into this that it would be somewhat irresponsible to give Dak a long-term extension now and force whoever your head coach is, if it's not Mike McCarthy in 2025, that involves that hypothetical, into accepting that. I mean, it's really, we live in a world where sometimes you have to sell the head coach on your situation. The Chargers were the most desirable destination of all open availabilities this offseason because they have Justin Herbert. And in a similar sense, that's why the Denver job was not appealing last year. I don't want to speak for DeMeco Ryans, but I imagine that's why DeMeco was like, I could either go to Denver and work with Russell Wilson and go to Houston and choose my own adventure. And it worked out, right? And so I'm not saying that Dak will be regarded the way Russell Wilson was last year, this time next year, but that possibility exists. And so you almost have to maintain flexibility to keep yourself viable from a suitor's perspective if you are in the head coach market a year from now.
Yeah.
And an extension inhibits all that. An extension destroys that. An extension means you're going to ask someone, Rob Thompson, a moment ago, you were the owner of your own NFL team. So I'm shifting gears. You're now the new hot coach on the market. Everybody wants Prime Rob. Yeah, everybody's blowing you up. Yeah, obviously.
My new scheme.
And exactly. You're cooking with gas here. I mean, you are just in demand.
It's called the mouse in the house. It's a crazy offense.
Are you are you going to want to sign up for a quarterback entering year 10?
No, but there is some comfort in knowing exactly what I've got. kind of like when you asked me, would you re-sign McCarthy? Well, if I brought McCarthy back, I would know what I got. And I know what I got in Dak Prescott. And it's funny, the comparisons, I think, are perfect to the guy that we were just talking about with Harbaugh in his first go-around. And that's Alex Smith. This is just Dak Prescott is the modern version of Alex Smith. I mean, there's a reason why Andy Reid took him.
It's not properly reflective, but it's not the worst analogy I've ever heard. But I still think it's not fair.
I didn't hate Alex Smith then, and I don't hate Alex Smith now. Now, Dak, I think, has made bigger mistakes, but he's probably had a couple of bigger wins. Gracious. So I think things balance out, and that's who he is. And if I know that's who he is,
out of here with this mouse in the house crap.
But he might actually fit my mouse in the house offense. I think if I was to find out today that if it was announced that the Cowboys had extended Dak and made him the highest paid quarterback in the NFL, you know what I would do?
To be clear, that's what it would take.
Yes.
To extend him, that's what it would take.
And the history of the league,
NFL history.
I would, as Cowboy fan, would go, of course he did. And I wouldn't be mad. I'd be mad. I would also know that next year we're going to win some football games because he's that good. But we ain't. I'm done. I know that we're staying together for the sake of the kids.
That the season ended with. We're talking about the second team All-Pro.
I know.
Right? Like that's objectively true. We're talking about the second team All-Pro. But the end of the season was such a disaster that it broke that's amazing. Like, forget your fandom or allegiance or whatever. Like, that is an amazing phenomenon. The amount of good that they just threw away. I mean,
yeah. Like, you know, RJ, though,
it's incredible.
Guys of my age, you're not there yet. In about 15 years, most of your cohorts that are your age, about 50% of them, about half of them are going to get divorced. And you're going to be surprised by about half of the divorces. They're going to go, what? They're leaving? They're getting divorced? I didn't see anything. And a lot of it is there was nothing to see. That a lot of these marriages after the kids and after the honeymoon period just become roommates. And it's just over. It's just, I don't dislike you, Dak, but we're just roommates now. We see each other in passing. There's no spark.
Wow.
So if you were to leave tomorrow, I'll miss you, but not for long. Because somebody will enlighten me a little bit, light the fire in my loins, as it were. We'll break on that.
Charles Leclerc got an extension with Ferrari.
That lucky little so-and-so.
The Sports Star Boys are headed to Vegas for the big game.
Remember, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
February 5th, Robin RJ and Jason and Joe are heading to Sin City and Radio Row for the big game with security provided by AA Best Bail Bonds.
Let's go to Vegas. We'll all get drunk and
Woo! Think you gonna get away with it? Not up in here.
Not up in here.
Powered by AA Best Bail Bonds, Synergenics, Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds, and 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
What would you do if you weren't afraid? Is a very important question to consider. The reason to consider it is because life has a nasty habit of presenting us with opportunities for our fears to rise to the surface and either stop us cold in our tracks or completely derail us. Digging down into why and what we fear can uncover some life-changing moments where we not only discover some important things about ourselves, but learn some lessons about life. Eventually, we will all face tragedy and setback. No one goes untouched, but some folks will closet themselves off in denial and self-deception. Others, on the other hand, will realize that what they face is really bigger than what they can handle and invite God into the crisis. And when they get to the other side, they realize that they're not afraid to love and to be loved. They're not afraid to be hopeful about life because the fear of going it alone is gone. God is with them. This is Mark Absher, the MacArthur Park Church of Christ, encouraging you to face your fears. Visit our church online at macarthurchurch.org. The MacArthur Park Church of Christ, connecting God and people.
Find LS Tractors at Dietz Tractor in Seguin, known for top performance, durability, and innovative features, and ideal for tough tasks like mowing, tilling, plowing, and hauling. LS Tractors are your reliable choice for farm, ranch, and landscaping needs. Experience unmatched dealer support at Dietz Tractor for parts and maintenance. They're not just selling tractors, they're building lasting relationships. Take advantage now. 0% financing available with approved credit on LS Tractors at Dietz Tractor in Seguin. LS Tractors, start blue, stay blue. Dietz Tractor.
Hey, this is Rob Thompson for Tri-County Meat Market, your locally owned full-service meat market. Tri-County has 2 great locations, Huebner Road and Ralph Fair, stocked full of everything you need to up your grilling game. You're looking for the perfect cut of beef, they've got it, and they don't have it, they'll cut it for you. Roast chicken, prepare foods, they've got it. The 5 for $25 is always in play. If you're a first responder, 10% off the best meat you're going to find. Tri-County Meat Market. Head over to either location, put some good meat on the grill, and thank me later.
When was the last time you went to the dentist? Need a new dentist? Hi, Jason Minix here. Go see my dentist at Smile Structure Dentistry and Braces. Smile Structure can handle all your dentistry needs, from general dentistry to oral surgery, orthodontics for the kids, or Invisalign for adults. Mention this ad, get a free exam and x-rays. Veteran owned with 5 San Antonio area locations. Learn more and book an appointment online at smilestructure.com. That's smilestructure.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
The La Tap Texas cycling races are back in San Antonio, April 12th to the 14th. Cyclists of all ages, register now to ride in the 100, 60, or 25-mile Tour de France amateur cycling events. You can run, walk, cycle, and celebrate all things Fitness Fiesta at the Athletes Village and Expo. La Tap Texas. Register today at fiestafitfest.com. Presented in part by Thomas J. Henry.
San Antonio Card House, the premier card house. It's a new year, it's a new month, but it's the same old thing when you're talking about SA Card House. They're giving money away. $125K giveaway running all the way through the end of the month, January 31st. 527 chances to win. You know our slogan, you got to play to get the pay. 17 hot seats drawn per day. Yes, per day, every hour on the hour from 9 a.m. to 1 a.m. And this month they pulled out the wheel. That's right, 20 spin the wheel to win. $500 all the way up to $2,000. And of course, it's SA Card House, so you got the multiplier. The multiplier bonus is 100 to 149 hours. You get 2 times the multiplier. Once you get up over 150, it's 3 times the multiplier. When you're playing that much, might get a little famished, might get a little hungry, might get a little thirsty. Bounce on over to Foster's Bar and Grill and order some food from one of those 3 fantastic chefs. Check it out yourself at sacardhouse.com. That's SA Card House, the premier card house in San Antonio.
They're local, they're San Antonio, and they know sports. They're R&R in the morning, KTFM Floresville, and SASportsStar.com. San Antonio's Sports Center.
Houston Texans OC Bobby Slowick is in huge demand. That might be the delay in the Atlanta Falcons hiring process. We thought it was Belichick. Will it be Slowick? We'll find out soon enough, as he's also interviewing with the Commanders. Speaking of the Texans, Houston Texans quarterback coach Jared Johnson has completed an interview with the Eagles for their OC job. And Will Anderson's going to the Pro Bowl.
This is R&R in the morning.
Man in motion, handoff, Pollard coming right. Bang, zoom, touchdown Cowboys. Yama about 3 feet behind the line, got it.
It's R&R in the morning with Rob Thompson and the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, RJ Ochoa.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. It's Rob and RJ here on San Antonio's Sports Star. I had a massive collapse here in the studio, RJ. Just now, one of my monitors just fell over to the side. I'm glad that it wasn't the camera that's on me right now, because it was an avalanche of biblical. You want to see something like, you want to see what infinity looks like? This is infinity, just over and over and over. Take that with you on your downloads. That's pretty crazy, right? That's my video effect for the day. But
you made it through that?
I did. I survived.
I wonder who will play you in the
continuum.
movie.
Well, we got a minute. You got a minute? You busy? We air our grievances normally at 9:30, but no,
don't spoil the grievance.
No, I'm not. This isn't a grievance. We'll talk about it in a bit. Yeah, my monitor collapsed, so forgive me if I'm fixing things. We talk Spurs at the top of the hour. We podcast things. We send it about. That's what we do around here. And when the last
to the YouTube channel, pay the like tax.
When last we saw our San Antonio Spurs, they were competing against the Oklahoma City Thunders last night at home at the beginning of a 7-game homestand. What's that? Competing?
Yes.
Yeah. But there was a contest. It was organized. There were referees and rules, and there was an outcome. They were there. They lost 140 to 114. They gave up 77 points in the second half. They allowed Oklahoma City to score 140 points. That's a season high. 140 points. They were competitive for about a quarter and a half. At least it was even. And then late in the first and into the second, a 15-point spread, and there it went. At that point, it became, will Wemby just outplay Chet? That's all that, as a Spurs fan, that's all I cared about for the rest of the night, because I felt like beginning of the third, there was no charge. There was no let up. OKC went deeper into their bench. Their superstar Shea Gilgeous became. Jalen Williams, who has been a revelation, continued to dominate, and they just punched the Spurs around like a bunch of under-talented young kids. That's what they did. And it struck me that no matter what we do, no matter how good Wemby is, he ain't Tim, but he's in a terrible situation. This is not Tim's situation. He's got very little help. There's not a lot there.
Does he have any help? Like not
well,
very
that's
little.
Just it. Shouldn't he have help? Shouldn't there be help here already? Haven't we already been drafting in the top 10, 12 for the last several years? Haven't we already had some money to spend? And all we could come up with to prepare for a Wemby was Zach Collins, Charles Bassey off of the G League. We got lucky. He's not bad, but this is the prep. We drafted 2 point guards a couple years ago. We still can't figure out which one we like. The guy that's been hurt more seems to be the favorite today, and Blake Wesley. But Malachi's had his moments, but neither one of them. We don't miss the other when they're gone. I can tell you that. I see Derek Champagne running around. I mean Champagne, not Derek. I see Derek Barlow running around. But man for man, talent for talent, against a team that's just a little bit ahead of the Spurs, RJ, in prep time and rebuild. I see their picks, granted, higher. Not a lot higher, but higher. And I see our picks, and their picks are better. Their guys are better. They're better. They might not have bigger names, but they're better.
There are 5 teams in the NBA who have allowed 140 points in a game at least 4 times this season. Mentioned. Who do you think the other 4 are? Obviously the Spurs.
Obviously the Spurs. The other 4, I would put out there Detroit and Charlotte.
That's one.
Who are the other? Oh, the Pacers have given up a bunch of buckets. Are Pacers in there?
You've got 2. You're missing. Charlotte's not one. I'll give you. That's your one mulligan. So you got
Detroit?
2 of the other 4.
Okay.
You got the Pacers and the Pistons. There's
Milwaukee's been giving up buckets by the gallon, but maybe not.
You locking that in?
Yeah, I'll lock them. I mean, they got a coach fired for the lack of defense, not them. Bottom 5. Where's Sacramento lately?
Sacramento.
Mike Brown's a defensive guy. That would
not allowed.
That didn't count.
Sacramento hasn't allowed 140 points once.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. They've done it twice. They've done it twice, but we're talking teams that have allowed 140 points at least 4 times.
Gosh, that's a lot of buckets. Houston.
No.
Let's see. I'm running out of young teams. So give me the old teams that are getting roped.
Well, these are just the 5. So the Pistons, Spurs, and Jazz have all allowed 140 points at least 4 times. Or 4 times exactly. Now the Jazz have actually won one of those games, which the Spurs and Pistons have not. The Pacers have allowed a $140 on 5 occasions. They have won one of those games, but one team has allowed a $140 7 times this season. Shout out, of course, to Monica Geller. They just moved on from their head coach this morning, and that would be the Washington Wizards.
The Wizards have released freed their head coach, the Austins that was.
Yeah, I mean, you can define that how you want. I mean, but
because you know why? Because the Spurs beat them. Spurs went into Washington and beat them. You got the coach fired. Congratulations. Sometimes it's good to be the underdog. Sometimes it's good to show up and get a coach fired. I hadn't heard that they had let him go. No surprise.
By the way, Rob, we did not mention in the 7 o'clock hour, and that is really on us. Do you know how many assists the Spurs had?
Oh, I do. They did maintain the streak. They did. What were we at? 28, I think.
30 assists.
30 assists.
102 consecutive games with 20 or more assists.
Yet again.
Magic number is 18 to tie the 80s Lakers.
Yet again.
Magic number is 18.
A useless stat. Yeah. 102 consecutive games. I wonder how many of those we've won in the last 102.
Only one team has. I can find that.
Well, I mean, the math is. I mean, so if we want to prove how useless some stats can be as we chase the greatness that is 20 assists in 119 consecutive games, and we've got 102 under our belt, I believe, is the chase. I'll tell you this: what struck me yesterday, and watching Wemby and Chet go at it. And, it's rivalry week. That's so hard for me to say in the NBA. And this was what the NBA is telling its fans, not just in San Antonio and Oklahoma City, but the rest of the world, that this is the rivalry you should be paying attention to because of the 15-foot of center. And Oklahoma City as a team is so much further down the road, even though they didn't start that much ahead of us. They've been on the downfall just about as long as we have. They had to say goodbye to Russell and James Harden and Kevin Durant and had to deal with all the ramifications of such and brought in a lot of draft picks and have used them appropriately. Sam Presti has done his job. Has Brian Wright? I blamed Brian Wright for the drafting of Luka Samanic, and I shouldn't have. That stinks not on him. That's on RC. That stinks on RC, not Brian. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that. Now, there's some other problems. But that brain trust is still around, even though RC's got a different office. I tell you this, if we're going to be where we need to be, the current situation in the front office is going to be very different. We know the head coach is going to be gone, however that goes. I don't like where the team is headed talent-wise. We just don't stack up, and we've had plenty of opportunity. And it's not just against Oklahoma City. Look at Houston. Look at Detroit, for that matter. I'd say they got more talent man for man than the Spurs do. They're young. I think they got to look elsewhere. I know where the answer is, RJ, and I know this is. I watched a press conference yesterday, and I feel bad about even bringing the man's name up, considering the situation that he finds himself and his team in, because the loss of a coach is as difficult a thing as you can bear during the regular season. But as I see Steve Kerr play out his sting, I see him as the next coming of Jerry West. I would spend any amount of money to go get a Steve Kerr and let him come in, give him the corner office, and let him be the next RC for the next 20 years. He's been here. He knows the climate. He knows the family. He knows the ownership. He understands bid markets. He has watched Golden State go from nothing to the biggest franchise in the world. They're huge in Asia. They have a brand new stadium with 3 levels of suites. They are ahead of the game. He learned from the very best, who now is an ESPN. Now he's a consultant with the Commanders, bringing in talent in the football world. That's who Steve Kerr has been working for. I spend any amount of money. Don't let him land in Phoenix. Don't let him land anywhere else. Make him a Spur for life, and don't make him coach. Let him be Jerry West. Let him build the dynasty that RC did. I think the plans everything's in place. We got the lumber. We got the thing. We got Wemby. We got the next. We got the fandom. You know the zip code. You know the area code. You know the streets, Steve. I think at this moment in time, if we're talking about prep, forget the team. Go get the guy and let him decide. I bet there's not a lot of Spurs would be around.
First off, Spurs have won 24 of these 102 games.
Oh, man.
No, that was
like their 3-point percentage, right about 25%. Yeah. Nice.
But I agree with you. I think that role is lacking. We're on the precipice of the Spurs having to become an actual modern NBA team, right? Where you need multiple voices, right? Where, it's not just one judge, jury, and executioner. And I don't say that to intimate that has been a bad thing. It obviously hasn't, with Pop. But you're going to need somebody, and somebody, to your point, who's been there, who's done that. The fact that he has experience in San Antonio specifically is obviously a big plus. And you finally, for the first time in a very long time, have the thing. You have the ticket
A
to
reason
wave in
to
front of
come.
anybody.
A reason to be here.
You want to jump on the bandwagon? Come on. I mean, we're still a little bit lost at sea, but when we get on the soil once again, this is a completely and totally different sort of conversation. Plus, I mean, if you look at the landscape of the West, I mean, like this, I don't mean this question the way it sounds, but who has a brighter future than the Spurs? That's because there's a lot of answers.
There's 3 or 4 teams that
Right.
have a trajectory to either stay where they are or to continue to improve.
But
I think you're looking at 5 teams. Yes.
The landscape as we've known it to be, certainly where Steve Kerr is currently at, obviously in Los Angeles, although that remains an ever-changing kind of ecosystem. But you've got Phoenix, who's going to be around. You've got Oklahoma City, who presents to be an issue.
Anybody else? Well, RJ, actually, I'm not even looking at the Lakers, and I'm not even looking at Phoenix. Those are the teams that are good now, but by the time the Spurs are where we think we're going to be with Wemby, those teams are going to be long gone.
Okay,
Kevin
so
Durant's going to be
OKC.
gone. LeBron's going to be gone. James Harden and Russell and all of them going to be gone from the Clippers.
Yeah, so
they're going to be in their process.
A generation's going to fully age out by the time
we're
ready to take over.
So,
okay,
I'm looking at New Orleans. I'm looking at Oklahoma City. I'm looking at Minnesota. Those are the teams I got to look at and to some extent maybe the Jazz. Those are the teams that I look at in the next 3 to 4 years, and the Rockets too, to some extent. Maybe not as much as I thought before, but still there. Those are the teams that they need to be aiming at. It ain't the Clippers. It ain't the Lakers. It ain't the Suns, even though right now they're in it. And Denver, I think, has about a year and a half to 2 years, another 2 years of a run here. But Aaron Gordon's about to age out. Jokic, I never know about what his plans are. So I think there's some change coming, and they're in a right place. And so what I'm saying is make your decision now for what's going to apply in 3 years. I don't want Pop to leave. I want him to stay as long as possible, but I have to understand a transition is coming. And nobody in the world do I trust more outside of our gates than Steve Kerr. There's nobody else.
The most advantageous opportunity of the teams you named?
With the draft picks, with the money, and with Wemby, on paper, yes. Now there's arguments. I mean, this is still Milwaukee with sunshine. This is still a town that most of these players don't want to spend a lot of time in. They don't want to live here. They have the benefit of no taxes, and once those that get here, normally most stay. A lot of stay, but it's the easiest place to convince people to come. But now that you have that anchor in Wemby, he becomes the guy that gets, like Tim got Marcus here. I mean, he becomes the guy that helps to get the others.
That was one time. You know what I mean?
And yet another reason why, if I'm Steve Kerr, and I am just worn out from coaching, I am sick of dealing with Draymond. I'm sick of dealing with the porcelain Klay Thompson. I'm just sick of it all. And then I lost a good friend to a heart attack in the situation. I got to get out of Oakland and San Francisco. Come on home, Steve. Don't go to Phoenix. Don't go there. Pay him whatever he's worth. Use some of that Austin money and go get a guy who will set this franchise up for decades. A guy, it's not about coaches now. Jerry West has outlived a lot of dudes over the years, but everywhere he has been, that team got better because the guy understood everything about the game, because he played and starred like Steve did. He GM'd and learned from the very best like he did, and adapted every generation. I can't think of a better opportunity for a guy who's played out his string.
It sounds great on paper.
Go get him. It's time.
It sounds you've sold me. I'm not opposed to it. I'm not ready to believe. You know what I mean? Like I'm a little bit jaded right now, and maybe I'm just pissed off because of all the losing, and I'm frustrated, and I'm growing more and more impatient. But I'm ready for something to change. I'm ready for there to be a I don't need a dramatic change, but it can't just be more of this. It can't just be getting blown out by the Thunder. It can't just be getting blown out by Philly. Like, you got to have something that we can hang our hat on right now. You got to give me a piece of meat. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not. I don't even need a meat. But I've been waiting here at this restaurant for 30 minutes now, and I was very hungry when I walked in the door. It's been so long that I'm no longer hungry. Like the hunger has now dissipated, and I'm angry that the food hasn't arrived yet. I ordered the chips and salsa, the calamari. I need some sort of appetizer, something to put in my belly, and I don't have anything. You haven't even brought you brought the initial bread, and then we kind of picked at it, but we wanted to save it. We didn't want to eat the bread because we were told the appetizers here were great. And so you haven't refilled my drink. You haven't done anything. I'm just here. I'm frustrated. I don't have anything in my belly. I need something going on. It's cold. I didn't bring a jacket because I didn't know it was going to be cold. So I'm just incredibly uncomfortable.
Jesse De La Rosa is too. And the reason I bring this up right now, Jesse, he's on the chat. He says if a change in the front office and the coaching bench happens, it needs to happen soon because Wemby is on a rookie contract and have him re-sign on the idea of another rebuild will be difficult. Yes. That's why I bring it up now.
The enemy of action is the idea of we have time. No, you never have time. You're like, enough. Like, you got to move. You got to move. You got to move. You cannot just burn a year.
Speaking of activity over inactivity, the inertia thing, things in motion tend to stay that way.
An inertia shout out. Look at you.
I'm curious. There seemed to be some inertia for Belichick to land in Atlanta. It was the first name mentioned. It was the first interview I had heard. Why is it so quiet there? Why hasn't this happened, especially after Harbaugh signed? Were they chasing Harbaugh? Is there somebody else out there? Would the Falcons be crazy to have changed directions and go after somebody like a Bobby Slowick? Let's talk about the coaching carousel as the Eagles have found a DC, a name that we're all very familiar with. You want to talk about a retread? There's a dude we know landing in Philly. The carousel turns, and we're talking about it. Who's going to live where in the NFL? That's next. And we're giving away some tickets to go see a very funny comedian. Hold on tight. It's just around the corner. This is Rob and RJ, and you're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The NFL playoffs are here.
Read all about it, baby. One last drive.
Wild card, divisional, conference championship, and Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas. Hear it on your exclusive home for the NFL playoffs and the Super Bowl. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Jackson Hewitt has a plan to get your tax refund fast with a buck here, buck there, here a buck, there a buck, everywhere buck.
You don't have to weeks for your tax refund. Get money sooner with a no-fee refund advance loan at Jackson Hewitt.
On this loan, there's a money today guarantee. E-I-E-I-Do.
Don't settle for chicken feed. Get fast bucks at Jackson Hewitt today. No-fee refund advance loans by Republic Bank offered to eligible clients. Money today guarantee if approved for a loan on a prepaid card. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
At George Salinas Injury Lawyers, our motto is simple. George gets justice. But what does that mean for you? It means you get an award-winning team of attorneys who will fight for everything taken from you so that you can get back to what matters in life. When we say George gets justice, it's just not a motto. It's a commitment to you. Call us at 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com. George gets justice.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Anjali.
Hi, it's Jennifer Coolidge. I just got an alert for a strange charge on my card.
No problem. We make sure you're never held responsible for unauthorized purchases on your Discover card. Let's see. Did you purchase something from a t-shirt cannon store yesterday?
Absolutely not. No, I already have like 3.
$0 fraud liability guarantee. It pays to Discover. Learn more at discover.com/credit card. Limitations apply.
My friend and I are taking a trip to Mexico this year, but neither of us speak Spanish. So we downloaded Babbel and started learning Spanish fast.
Want to start getting conversational in another language in as little as 3 weeks? Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons were designed by language experts to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com.
Hey, this is Rob Thompson here for Prize Picks. I want to tell you about Prize Picks. For those of you guys that like to play and watch games a lot of different ways, there's lots of different ways to enjoy it. I've been a fantasy football player since the very beginning. Heck, I made my bones playing fantasy football, and Prize Picks is the first one that truly suits me. If you're a DFS player, there's no better place to go than Prize Picks because my knowledge matters. This is a game of skill, and I'm not worried about entire teams. I'm worried about my favorite player, my team, my league. All I got to figure is where he might be, where she might be, pick over, under, combine them with other players, get some prize picks, get some fun, but at the same time, use my knowledge. It's Prize Picks, and if you go to prizepicks.com, throw the word Alamo in there for your little promo, I'll tell you what, you're going to make a little bit of extra, get a little bit going, but I'll tell you what, Prize Picks is the one place I have found I can take my fantasy love and take it to the game. That's Prize Pick. Download today, use Alamo, and I know you're going to thank me later.
Eczema flaring up again? We have good news. Exoderm. If you or someone you love suffers from eczema or dermatitis, get Exoderm, the common sense answer for eczema. This stuff really does work. Exoderm contains the #1 doctor-recommended ingredient in a clean hypoallergenic cream with no harsh additives. Take back control of your eczema with affordable, fast-acting Exoderm Flare Control Cream. Exoderm. It's in the first aid aisle of your local Walmart, H-E-B, and other fine stores.
You can make the decision right now to get lasting relief from that awful joint pain for 2024. Don't go another year compromising because of that pain in your knees, shoulder. Call QC Kinetics now. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative non-surgical pain relief. Your body has what it needs to restore and repair that damaged joint tissue, and QC Kinetics can make it happen. No drugs, no surgery, no downtime. The future of pain treatments has arrived, and QC Kinetics has tens and thousands of satisfied patients all over America. People with back pain, hip pain, any pain associated with arthritis or an injury. This is not a Band-Aid. This is a revolutionary treatment that can get you moving again, get you your life back. And best of all, it's non-surgical. If this is your year to decide to fight back against that pain, take the first step now and call QC Kinetics to get a free consultation on the calendar today. Call 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. 210-571-0318. Locations in Hollywood Park, Westover Hills, and New Braunfels.
This is Jim Rome. Join me weekdays at noon on my new home, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
I'm texting you.
Oh.
Telling you how beautiful you look.
I'm having technical issues over here, so forgive me if we, after the biblical and epic collapse. You like Bobby Slowick?
Sure.
I mean, I should say, did you like the Texans' offense?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we sometimes, this is not an indictment of Bobby Slowick, but I think we sometimes say like, oh, who was really good? Who had a really good quarterback? The coordinator must be amazing. You know, I certainly think there's reason to believe in Bobby Slowick. I think he's deserving of being a head coach in the NFL. But at this point, you know, opportunities are drying up a little bit. And I don't know that I would rather have Bobby Slowick than other alternatives at this particular point.
We wonder what's going on in Atlanta. And, you know, it's not like that's been a perfectly run franchise and they make great decisions every time. But there has been some talent come through the coaching staffs. I mean, the guy Blank does have an eye for some things. And Belichick is still thinking, I think Belichick's asking for the world. And I think Blank's just curious if, you know, mulling over whether he can get it all.
That is so stupid to not give him the world.
I agree. I mean, why would you not? But I do think, you know, billionaires are billionaires for a reason. They do it their way.
This ain't Home Depot, Arthur.
Very true. But I will say this. If I'm the Houston Texans and I've got CJ Stroud and I look around the landscape of the NFL now and over the last 20 years, 30 years, I don't know, that I know that there is one constant. When young quarterbacks lose after their first year of success, when they lose their OC, they are never, it knocks them off kilter. Sometimes they stay on track and continue to get good. I mean, there's still guys that have maintained. Josh Allen's lost an OC or two, and looks like Burrow might lose his. And I don't
Prescott
expect
lost one, and he thrived.
So it is possible. But then there's the scrap heap of second-year, third-year quarterbacks who lost their initial OC, who never recovered, ever. Baker Mayfield is a cautionary tale. He's still around despite, but man, oh man, I'm telling you, the biggest investment the Texans can make this offseason ain't in players. It's in keeping Slowick around for at least another year. Give him whatever it takes. First parking spot in front of Ryan's. Give him a title. Give him a raise. Whatever it takes to keep him in the house for another year. We're only asking for a year. Long term would be better. Then we're talking imminent Super Bowl because this relationship works. But you will stunt his growth the moment that Slowick walks out. Whether he is a great coordinator or just a whisperer that C.J. Stroud can hear, it is a coach that they cannot afford to lose.
It works out really well for the Texans that they have the young hotshot offensive coordinator. It works out specifically that he's a branch of the Kyle Shanahan tree.
Mm-hmm.
And generally speaking, these coaches, these play callers tend to do all right for themselves. So in the aftermath of the Jim Harbaugh domino what will follow the falling of the domino, the following of the falling.
The falling.
There are 4 head coaching positions left. Whether or not Bobby Slowick gets one of them remains to be seen. The teams with openings still, Rob Thompson, the Washington Commanders, the Atlanta Falcons, the Carolina Panthers, and the Seattle Seahawks. Now, Adam Schefter reported bright and early when you and I were already settled in, on this ride, that Dan Quinn was having his second interview with Seattle today.
It feels imminent, doesn't it?
I don't think so, dude. I mean, that's just my 2 cents.
Really?
I hope so. I hope so. If Seattle, if you're listening because you are subscribed to the San Antonio Sports Star YouTube channel, which everybody should be, if you have paid the like tax by liking the video, which everybody should have done, then just know that I think the world of Dan Quinn, and I think you should absolutely hire him to be your head coach. And I'm not saying this because I want the Dallas Cowboys to move on and find somebody else, a different voice, in an effort to potentially, put an end to the drought that has plagued them for 28 years, something that I think Dan Quinn has a heavy hand in as of late. But you know what, Seattle, do your thing. Please hire him. That being said, there are 4 openings left. We presume that Bill Belichick is going to get one of them. It would be very strange. It would be very strange if we went this entire coaching cycle and Bill Belichick did not get a single one. So we presume that Bill Belichick's going to get one. Right now, it makes the most sense that it would be Atlanta. Although it'd be fascinating to see if Atlanta went a different direction. Like, does Bill go like, okay, Carolina, I'll interview with you. Maybe, Bryce Young stinks, but okay.
You joke at this. It is kind of silly to think about it. But Tepper's the kind of guy that would go get a Belichick. Now, I'm not sure if Belichick would want to work for a Tepper. But Tepper's one of those owners that's, he doesn't think anything in this franchise is going right. He's the guy who walks in the door.
If Atlanta overthought this and was like, let's just get the whoever else because we're better than Bill Belichick. Right. And then David Tepper threw all the money in the world at Bill and he wound up kicking their ass. But so we presume Bill's getting one of these jobs. I think we presume Ben Johnson's getting one of these jobs, probably the Washington job. So that leaves 2. And we haven't heard anything about Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel seemingly is going to get one of these jobs. So it kind of comes down to, let's presume he gets the 3rd, right? And the where this is ultimately matters a lot, obviously. But we're back to the Rob Bandits. You're the Rob Bandits. Would you rather have Dan Quinn or Bobby Slowick?
And what team are we talking about?
The Rob Bandits. But
the
in this
Rob
case,
Bandits? In the modern game, what's my draft pick? Am I starting a new team? Do I have a quarterback?
I guess in this case, we'll say it's probably the Carolina Panthers.
I got a quarterback.
I think if so my personal guess, if I'm connecting the dots, I'm 4 years old and I'm drawing the dots to connect 2 different exercises, right? I'm putting Bill Belichick in Atlanta. I'm putting Ben Johnson in Washington. So at least Carolina and Seattle. I'm putting Mike Vrabel in Seattle. There's no way Mike Vrabel,
right? It feels good.
Yeah, there's no way he's not getting a job. So you're Carolina at this point in time. You're David Tepper. You got all the money in the world. Over Bobby Slowick?
Yeah.
I don't think so. You got to fix Bryce Young. I'm
not saying I don't go find myself somebody I trust. But the fastest way for me to get better in Carolina is to improve my defense. The fastest way for me to sell some tickets and win 8 games is to improve my defense.
I completely.
I've already got a quarterback in place.
The fastest way. You don't have the quarterback in place. Everybody thinks your quarterback stinks.
Well, I got to give it a shot. I'm getting hired because they're telling me to give him a shot. So I got a quarterback for the next 3 years, and I got to find a fix there. But the first thing I got to do is to get him in a situation where he's not down by 21 points every time he walks on the field, where all he can do is drop back and try to heave it to save a game. I got to shore up the defense. And I know one thing, Dan Quinn might not be the long-term fix, but short-term, I'll let him go get some guys, and it won't be that expensive because there's a certain body type that he likes that is available. Big safeties. There's a lot of big safeties out there. And he will go create a defense that'll turn the ball over, that'll make it kind of fun to go to a game while I go find an OC and spend some time doing the boring stuff of putting together an offensive line and finding the niche and doing all that kind of stuff. That's the only reason I go with Quinn.
It'd be so funny if they did go with Bobby Slowick and he went from coaching CJ Stroud to having to fix Bryce Young.
You know, the irony would be so remarkably rich. It would be worth like an Amazon all or nothing series just to see how he attacks the differences in these two quarterbacks, because they are size different, attitude the same, but very different qualities in how they are successful. And I'd love to see a guy like Slowick who go from one quarterback to another and have to do very different things. I think that would make or break this guy's career. And another thing, I'm not sure that Ben Johnson is the answer there in Washington.
I completely disagree.
Why do you think? Is it because they're going to go get a quarterback? You think he's going to be able to take and do what he did with a guy much like Danny Dimes? Same kind of concept. You'll be able to make him different.
Oh my gosh, Danny Dimes is a horrible example. No, it's because of what he's done with Jared Goff. I mean, and it's not just Jared Goff. Like, to be very clear, and I don't want to take anything away from Jared Goff, but it's the utilization of Amon-Ra St. Brown and Josh Reynolds and Sam Laporta, and the way that the run game gets going. Now, all that is aided by the fact that they have maybe the best offensive line in the NFL, the Lions do. But I think beyond it makes logical sense to hire Ben Johnson. But the Washington franchise is in a much more dire situation than literally anybody else in the NFL. And you have to start on the same page everywhere. And it's nice to have all that be youthful. So you've got effectively a brand new owner, obviously, in Josh Harris
and Magic and that crew.
Right. And you've got a brand new GM. You've got, the Warriors dude, kind of helping out here. You've now got a young, head coach who you hope can be around for a decade. And you get your franchise quarterback at number 2 overall, Drake May, or whoever winds up being, if presumably Caleb Williams goes number 1 overall. You have your foundational pieces in set. You've laid the groundwork. The cement is now dried. Now it's time to build up.
I'm trying to figure out when we talk about what the Commanders are and where they are. Why isn't Belichick mentioned more prominently with them? Because you talk about a franchise that is desperate for something and they're rebuilding and doing all this stuff. You bring in a guy like Belichick into Washington
because they need to flip the hourglass upside down, man. You know what I mean? Like they need to start everything over, and that doesn't fit Bill Belichick's timeline. Okay. He's just not in that position. Bill Belichick needs 15 wins to pass Don Shula to become the winningest head coach in NFL history.
And not enough time. I got you.
That could take, 3 years.
Because you think about, we keep talking about Bob Myers is his name. So you put Bob Myers with Magic and this dude with more money than anybody that's come into the league since Tepper, I guess. And then you bring in a Belichick. It seems like that would be the kind of prescription that the NFL would certainly love in a place that really needs to be. I mean, NFL has survived with average Atlanta for a long time, but Washington feels like it needs to be a part of the upper echelon of the NFL. They have been in the past. And when they're not, the league ain't the same. And I think that would be a good
whole
place.
Lot of people who don't know. Like, I know that modern times it feels like the Eagles are the biggest rival of the Cowboys. It was Washington, always. Man. Like these were some bad dudes. Like this was a scary rivalry. Like they were really, 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 really good. I think it was the 1983 Washington team.
That Gibbs team
had a turnover differential of plus 46 and lost the Super Bowl. That's just insane. Like they were so good that they just, it's amazing. I mean, our nation's capital. They got to be good.
It would be. And you think about what they were under Gibbs and before that with George Allen and the success they had. A Belichick in that line of coaches seems like it might fit, though it doesn't look like it will actually occur. We did talk about it. Vic Fangio has the well-traveled, well-known defensive coordinator has landed in Philadelphia. Fangio does pretty good against the rivalry between McCarthy and Fangio is a good one.
Fangio owns the Cowboys.
He does.
I mean, he kind of struggles elsewhere, but like this is a big move for Philadelphia.
It is.
And he was, I don't know if you recall this, he was their special like Dwight Schrute, like assistant to the offensive assistants or whatever through the Super Bowl. They hired him for the playoffs last year, literally in just the playoff run. And it was presumed that he was going to be their defensive coordinator after Jonathan Gannon left, but then he got the Miami gig and I guess turned them down. And so this just kind of feels like he's like, fine, I'll go do it. I'll go help you beat the Cowboys because you can't do it on your own, which is nerve-wracking. But I mentioned it. How is this not tampering? Because the Eagles picked up a draft pick from the Cardinals for the weird kind of tampering situation that happened with the aforementioned Jonathan Gannon. So like this happened way too quickly for the NFL loves to insert itself and be like, wait a minute, this smells and looks and acts a little funny. We need you to cough up a 5th-round draft pick. Like, I don't know how this isn't tampering. They mutually agreed to decide to part ways, and then less than 24 hours later, he's on his way to Philadelphia to sign the contract. Like, that's it. There should be some restitution involved here.
They wanted to put that to bed so they could talk about the Dallas Cowboys. We're going to look much closer at the games we get on Sunday. Catch them live right here on San Antonio Sports Star. When you hear them, you'll know that Flight by Yingling is behind your opportunity there. We're coming back looking at the games through the data. What does the data tell us? Who should win by the numbers? We're looking at it next. This is Rob and RJ, and you're on 94.1 as San Antonio Sports Star. It's not championship, it's not Super Bowl weekend, but it's a worthy major coming up. If you're putting some stuff on the grill for your football Sunday, you better head over to Tri-County today. The specials are stacked deep, and it's going to be a good weekend of grilling, so you better head over there today. If you're a first responder, take your 10%, and if you're filling your bag with 5 for $25, that'll take care of you as well. But it's time to start planning your Sunday menu. I got mine down. I am doing brisket on Saturday. We're going to do brisket early, and then on the for the late game after we've had our lunch, I'm going to have a little bit of hamburger hot dog action going on because the hot dogs that come out of Tri-County, they make them there, are spectacular. You've never had anything like this before. And their hamburgers, I don't know how they do it, but they seem to be even bigger after you cook them than before you put them on the grill. The meat content, go to fat. It is perfect. If you're having a Sunday afternoon grilling, go get some of your hamburger meat from the place that knows what they're doing, not that stuff that's spitting it out by the ton. That's Tri-County Meat Market. There's 2 locations you need to go to. Over on Huebner, out on Ralph Fair. The meat is stacked. They're ready for you. Take advantage of the discounts, but go. If you haven't been to Tri-County, you're missing out. They say it, I believe it. A great meal starts with great meat. Head over to Tri-County today, and I know you're going to thank me later.
The Sports Star boys are headed to Vegas for the big game.
Remember, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
February 5th, Robin RJ and Jason and Joe are heading to Sin City and Radio Row for the big game with security provided by AA Best Bail Bonds.
Let's go to Vegas. We'll all get drunk and Woo!
Think you gonna get away with it? Not up in here!
Not up in here!
Powered by AA Best Bail Bonds, Synergenics, Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds, and 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Working from home, have enough outlets or USB ports. Hill Electric can fix that for you. For over 3 decades, the family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio homes and businesses. From adding an outlet, fixing that fuse that always blows, or that flickering light, Hill Electric has the right service at the right price, and there is never a service charge and always free estimates. Call Hill Electric at 210-404-9074. That's 404-9074. Or go to hill-electric.com.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
You got to be super organized to drive an electric vehicle, man. I ran it down to 0 miles remaining just as I pulled up into the parking lot.
I see 3 extension cords coupled together running several hundred feet out into a parking lot.
You guys are ghetto.
The whole world's going to look ghetto with these cables running around and cars swung all over the place.
The John Clay Wolf Show, every Saturday morning.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show, Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon, right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
Now is the best time to buy a Connecticut water softener. With current models being closed out to make way for the new ones, you can save big. Call Connecticut at 656-PURE and tell them Dave Ramsey sent you. That's 656-PURE.
When was the last time you went to the dentist? Need a new dentist? Hi, Jason Minix here. Go see my dentist at Smile Structure Dentistry and Braces. Smile Structure can handle all your dentistry needs, from general dentistry to oral surgery, orthodontics for the kids, or Invisalign for adults. Mention this ad, get a free exam and x-rays. Veteran owned with 5 San Antonio area locations. Learn more and book an appointment online at smilestructure.com. That's smilestructure.com.
The smarter way to clean your floors. It's time to make the swap. Swiffer Power Mop.
Introducing the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one tool that gives you a mop and bucket clean in half the time. The solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket, and the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get deep into grout. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
Jackson Hewitt has a plan to get your tax refund fast. With a buck here, buck there. Here a buck, there a buck, everywhere a buck.
You don't have to wait weeks for your tax refund. Get money sooner with a no-fee refund advance loan at Jackson Hewitt.
On this loan, there's a money today guarantee. E-I-E-I-DO.
Don't settle for chicken feed. Get fast bucks at Jackson Hewitt today. No-fee refund advance loans by Republic Bank offered to eligible clients. Money today guarantee if approved for a loan on a prepaid card. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting roles for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply or play stopped, opt out. Go to nomoredraftywindows.com for full offer details.
Homeowners, this is not a drill. Do not put off replacing old, broken, drafty windows in your home one more day. Renewal by Andersen, the company with the most 5-star reviews among leading full-service window replacement companies, can transform your home, fixing common issues like hot or cold rooms or sky-high energy bills. Renewal by Andersen's Fibrex windows and doors combine the strength and insulation of wood plus the low maintenance and durability of vinyl, guaranteed to never fade, flake, blister, or peel. These are truly your forever windows, backed by Renewal by Andersen's industry-leading warranty coverage. Just text WARM to 200-300 for your free consultation on top-quality affordable windows or patio doors for no money down, no payments, and no interest for a year. That's right, you don't pay a dime for an entire year. Plus, save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. But hurry, these big dollar savings are only in January. Text WARM to 200-300 right now. Text the word WARM to 200-300. Don't wait. Text WARM to 200-300.
Listen to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star on your Amazon or Google smart speaker and just say, Alexa, play 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's Rob and RJ. I got some tickets I got to give away. You want to go see a stand-up comedian, bar none, one of the funny ones going, Willie Barcena. He's coming to the Aztec next week, February the 2nd. If you want to go, grab your device and dial quickly 656-3776. And if you are caller number 4, you will attend, along with many others, a stand-up performance that will feature family, religion, race, sex, politics, you know, your general Thanksgiving dinner conversation. But it's much funnier than your weird uncle who just shows up for the pie at the end of the meal. Caller number 5. Everybody got a weird uncle that shows up late and just eats the pie and leaves.
I read something during the break that I did not know.
What's
you ready for this?
That's a good thing.
It's nothing about what you just said, but did you know the Texans are getting new uniforms this spring?
I did read that they're going to add a little bit of the Oiler flavor in there. A little bit of the powder blue might be play a role in their new uniforms. Is that true?
But these are, I don't know about that, but these are new uniforms. So, you know, they got some strong colors to work with here. I'm excited about this.
Yeah, there's a version of their uniform that looks really good. And then there's a couple of versions when they go the color rush, whether it be blue or red, that aren't my favorites. So it's difficult when you're dealing with red and blue. The color combos, you have to add in a third color or they get kind of lost together. It can be really good, but it was due a an update.
What are you talking about? These are easy colors to work with. What do you
I
mean?
never felt like they were. When you see they tried to go with the blue jersey and the red number. I don't like that. I need to be able to see the number. It's just it's a personal thing with me. I don't care if you outline it in white. It doesn't match for me.
I will say this: the Texans look where they wear white jerseys with the navy pants.
I agree.
White jerseys,
It's
navy pants. That is one of the best looks in the NFL.
Clean.
That's a strong look because you got the navy helmet, you got the nice kind of navy, white navy. That's their best look.
Clean look. I agree with you. But all blue, all red, I don't like it. The red helmet's fire. I'll give them that. But
the red helmet's stupid and awful, and it's the worst decision that any set of human beings has ever made in the history of this earth.
Says you.
Yeah.
Says
the right
you.
person. Yeah. Says the right person.
Sitting there in your cowboy blue, spouting it off like that.
You know what I don't like about the Texans logo? As I kind of unpack this a little bit here. If you let's look at think about the Buffalo Bills logo, right? The charging bill.
Okay.
The charging Buffalo.
The current version.
Right. If you flip that, it's the exact same thing. Right? Like if you mirror it, it's the exact same logo. It's just flipped 180 degrees horizontally.
It's
right?
bovine, yes.
No, but it's the exact same thing. If you flip the Texans logo, it's not the same thing.
No, it's because it's built to be on a helmet. It's got that three-dimensionality kind of bend to it. You're right. It doesn't flip well. It is only that. You're right.
No, but it's not that it doesn't flip well. It's that it doesn't flip logically.
No.
So look at it right here. So if you look at the standard Texans logo, like what's on a cap or what's on a shirt or what's on a polo, whatever, it looks like a bull where the right side of the bull is navy and the left side of the bull is red, right? That's the, if we look at this animal, the way that they're presenting it to us. So if you were to flip it on the other side, then the star should be on the red side.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not. Like when you flip it, it's actually two different logos. It's two different animals at that point in time. Like if you're presenting an animal that is two colors, 180, completely split down the middle horizontally. So if you want to be accurate, then the left side of the helmet should, be predominantly red. Does that make sense?
You're deep in the woods here, but I follow you. I'm with you.
What do you mean deep in the woods?
Because I always felt like that the logo for the Texans was built to be put on things. It wasn't a logo to represent the team. It was a logo of the modern era. Like, how will this look on a hat? How will this look on a shirt?
It's not real. It's not a real thing. Like the bill, like when you look at the bill on either side of Josh Allen's helmet, it's the same animal. It's the same mascot. The ones on either side of CJ Stroud's helmets those are two different animals. Like they're presented different ways. So who is the real Texan bull? Nobody. We don't know. It's a fraud. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I hope this new uniform kind of situation addresses this situation.
Pittsburgh only has logo on one side of their helmet.
You know what bothers me about that? I know we're saving our grievances, but what bothers me about that is you set up your set, Rob, right? Like you're doing a bowl game, you're doing the Super Bowl, you're doing whatever, and you got the sad, maybe it's Christmas time, you got the poinsettias, whatever the case may be, and you got the helmets down.
Wow, is that the new helmet? That one in the middle? No. Good. Thanks.
The visiting team goes on the viewer's left side, the left side of our TV, and the home team goes on the right side of our TV. It bothers me when they put the Steelers on the wrong side.
And you don't see the logo
to show their logo.
Right.
If they're the visiting team, you can't get away, or the home team, you just got to play it as it lies. You can't lie to us.
In the weeds with things. Rob and RJ. There's two teams that are chasing dynastic numbers in San Francisco and the Chiefs, right? I mean,
are the Niners chasing?
They're trying to stay in the conversation, considering they've been here.
Won a title,
right? And if they don't get it now, they're not going. What I'm saying is, they're trying to maintain and get there. The Chiefs are trying to stay in the same breath with the Patriots. We're talking about 4 Super Bowls in 5 seasons. They would join the Patriots and the Bills back in 1993 to do this in a 5-year span. This is an opportunity for the Chiefs to really etch their name in the hierarchy of the greatest teams to have ever set foot on a football field in the NFL. It is there. And San Francisco, if they can finally get one, will justify the last 5 years of the existence of Shanahan and what we've been told was the whiz kid. And now, that. I think those are the two teams. And then there's Baltimore. And I can't
They're the
quite.
dynasty.
That's what I'm saying. Is it Lamar and Baltimore? Because the storylines feel the same, though they're getting here in a very different way.
I think that San Francisco is looking to justify. Not, like they need this. You know what I mean?
Right. They need it.
again, if they don't win the Super Bowl, it will be 30 years since they've won the Super Bowl as a franchise. I mean, they'll go 30 years officially. But Baltimore won the Super Bowl 11 years ago and has a quarterback who won MVP 4 years ago. I mean, like they're the true, kind of proper dynastic, team to kind of look. And if they win this Super Bowl, if they go on to it, obviously, they'll have won 3 in 28 years of existence. That's crazy.
It really is. And why isn't McDonald, their defensive coordinator, more prominent in the coaching search? Because I'll put it to you, the defense, well, the defense that's coming in, and certainly it's not cool to be a defensive coach, but the defense that they led the NFL in points against and turnovers.
They also have something like a plus 114 point differential against playoff teams. Like they've just destroyed and vanquished teams.
This could be the Chicago Bears kind of defense without the names. I mean, legitimately as good a defense that is walking into a Super Bowl as we have seen in 30 years.
Both their coordinators, like Todd Monken, when he joined this team, coming off of coming out of the college world, a lot of people were kind of curious, but like the offense has been like, who's the pass catcher on the Ravens that you're like, oh, I want that?
Only Flowers, and just because he's a new flavor. I mean,
right. I mean, well, he is amazing to be clear, but like he's a rookie to your point. I mean, it's not like, it's the scheme, like it's Lamar obviously, but I mean, I don't know why Todd Monken hasn't been even like Mike McDonald's been mentioned at the very least, and they're obviously on their run, which is why he can't necessarily do interviews the same way. But Todd Monken isn't even getting sniffed.
Does he get short change because it's Lamar? I mean,
maybe we've seen that happen, although like Tom Brady got lots of offensive coordinators, head coaching jobs, although, Eric Bieniemy couldn't get one off of Patrick Mahomes' accomplishments. So maybe there is like a Lamar handicap or whatever, if you want to call it that, but they're winning it all.
When I look at this matchup, when you look at Chiefs and Ravens, you think Ravens D and Lamar and Chiefs offense with kind of a defense. We don't look at the Chiefs defense the way that it should be looked at. The Chiefs are second in the AFC in points per game. They're second in the AFC in yards per attempt, and they're second in the AFC in sacks. This defense for the Chiefs is literally the reason they're here. Now, it got them. Now, Mahomes is the reason they're here today, but the defense is what got them here when they had to win those big ones, despite those losses that were surprising, the home losses that we're not used to. I think we've overshadowed or overlooked a Chief defense that is capable of stopping Lamar. They are.
I think what happened was their defense was playing at this like otherworldly level, and then the team as a whole, specifically because of the offense, hit a little bit of a skid. And so it kind of inhibited anybody from being able to properly, when they went into that Monday night game against the Eagles that they wound up losing on the Marquez Valdes-Scantling drop. Buddy of mine, Alex Gold from 610 Radio in Kansas City, I remember like the day of that game, he tweeted out like, tonight's the night that, the Chiefs defense gets worldwide recognition. And then they lost. And then again, kind of went into a little bit of a tailspin and, it was all this different stuff. And you're right. Like everything's kind of calmed finally. Now, Josh Allen had some success and played really well against them, but he is Josh Allen. And so this is a big deal. Like we talk about the properties at stake for Lamar. He's able to win this himself alongside Mahomes as a proper rival. But if the Chiefs defense wins this game, it's like you shut down the league MVP after you shut down Josh Allen. You did both of those things on the road. And while everyone was doubting you and you got back to the Super Bowl, to Rob's point, for the 4th time in 5 years.
We will look closer at the San Francisco Detroit game in the next hour. Coming up on the tops, as we do every hour, we're talking San Antonio. They go down to OKC hard, 140-114. Wemby performed up to snuff. Are they ready for Portland? They'll be in town soon enough. We're talking Spurs next. Don't go nowhere, because he's RJ Ochoa. And I'm Rob Thompson, and this is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. How you feeling this morning? I hope you did not wake up in pain. I hope you woke up feeling good about yourself, ready to attack the day. And if that's you, keep it to yourself, man. Well, others of us are dealing with stuff. And if you are, I want you to keep a Rosti in mind. Put it in your phone. 1-800-404-6050. You know why? Because if you're dealing with pain, they can fix it. So many of us start every day with something bothering us, and we just kind of limp or hobble our way through, expecting that that's how it's going to be, or you're just going to get used to it. You don't have to live that way. Rosty's all around San Antonio with that mission in mind, to get you out of pain. They accept most insurances, and when you want to go, you never need a referral. That's why I say go ahead and write the number down, 1-800-404-6050. If you're dealing with a sprained ankle, something that happened over the weekend, maybe it's a frozen shoulder that's keeping you from doing the honeydews, or maybe it's a bad back that just won't let you go. Let me tell you, Rosty can work with that. You know, I had that same problem for years. Now, I went to my first visit a little skeptical. I didn't know what to expect. Rosty's a lot of different stuff, man. But I'll tell you what, they gave me a full evaluation. They went to work, and I'll tell you what, in under 3 weeks and 3 visits, I was back in the game, and that had never happened before. I want that for you. Keep them in mind. Keep a Rosty around. When you're in pain, call them today. They'll get you taken care of. A Rosty, they're all around San Antonio with one purpose: to get you fixed. Don't let pain keep you from doing things that you love. A Rosty's here. Call them today. Let them work with you. And before you know it, I know you'll be thanking me later.
The professional football playoffs are here.
Out of the gun, back to Dak. Left side of the end zone. Touchdown.
14 teams with only one goal in sight. The big game in Las Vegas. Presented by Flight by Yingling. Hear it on your exclusive home. 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
San Antonio Card House, the premier card house. It's a new year, it's a new month, but it's the same old thing when you're talking about SA Card House. They're giving money away. $125K giveaway running all the way through the end of the month, January 31st. 527 chances to win. You know our slogan, you got to play to get the pay. 17 hot seats drawn per day. Yes, per day, every hour on the hour from 9 a.m. to 1 a.m. And this month they pulled out the wheel. That's right, 20 spin the wheel to win. $500 all the way up to $2,000. And of course, it's SA Card House, so you got the multiplier. The multiplier bonus is 100 to 149 hours. You get 2 times the multiplier. Once you get up over 150, it's 3 times the multiplier. When you're playing that much, might get a little famished, might get a little hungry, might get a little thirsty. Bounce on over to Foster's Bar and Grill and order some food from one of those 3 fantastic chefs. Check it out yourself at sacardhouse.com. That's SA Card House, the premier card house in San Antonio.
No one does happy hour like Twin Peaks. Get to your local Twin Peaks Monday through Friday from 2 to 7 and score some sweet deals like $1 off all wine, liquor, and of course cheap shots. Freezing cold 29-degree cold beer. Of course we expect that. And you need more? How about a snack? Twin Peaks has select apps for $2, $4, and $6. And you can always come back for the late night specials. Why would you even leave for the reverse happy hour? No one does happy hour quite like Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, and all those scenic views.
Eczema flaring up again? We have good news. Exoderm. If you or someone you love suffers from eczema or dermatitis, get Exoderm, the common sense answer for eczema. This stuff really does work. Exoderm contains the #1 doctor-recommended ingredient in a clean hypoallergenic cream with no harsh additives. Take back control of your eczema with affordable, fast-acting Exoderm Flare Control Cream. Exoderm. It's in the first aid aisle of your local Walmart, H-E-B, and other fine stores.
Gomez Law Firm has been taking care of the people of San Antonio for almost 50 years, the leader in personal injury law. Jose, tell us a little bit more about what you do.
We do ride-sharing cases, 18-wheeler cases. Obviously, we've done those for very many years. Work injuries. We will be happy to take a look at and see if we can help.
If you have been injured in an accident or hit by a company vehicle, then you need to visit joegomezlaw.com.
We've been around for almost 50 years, and we're not going anywhere.
Call the Gomez Law Firm at 736-4040.
It seems like everywhere you look right now, someone is sick. This year, prepare your family for airborne invaders like bacteria, pollen, and yes, germs with Navage Nasal Care. Navage flushes ultra-pure, refreshing saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out of the other nostril. Navage sucks out viruses, dust, and other airborne particles, all the stuff that gets trapped in your nose, making you miserable. Don't get caught empty-handed this winter. Get Navage, the drug-free solution that helps you breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier. Even better, Navage is HSA, FSA eligible. So Navage is a great way to spend those funds before they expire. Don't wait a minute longer. Buy Navage today and you'll breathe easier knowing you're putting your funds to good use. Navage is available online at Navage.com or Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, and Rite Aid. Navage, Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
KTFM Floresville. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, your home for the Aggies. San Antonio's Sports Center.
In the NBA, your Spurs fell to the Oklahoma City Thunders, 140-114. Wemby led the way with 28 points and 12 rebounds. Chet, that other guy, only had 17. They return to action tomorrow, hosting the Portland Trailblazers. Try to get off the snide. Second game of the 7-game roadie. We're talking about it next. You're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
This is R&R in the morning.
Man in motion, handoff, Pollard coming right. Bang, zoom, touchdown Cowboys. Right, Yama about 3 feet behind the line. Got it.
It's R&R in the morning with Rob Thompson and the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, RJ Ochoa.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. He's RJ. I'm Rob. I'm Rob.
You sure?
I'm pretty sure. Did that ripple across here? You too? Did you get that? Anyway, I'm Rob Thompson. He is RJ Ochoa. I had some kind of weird effect going on over here. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm certain about who I am. Unlike I'm Rob.
You know what the problem is? You keep lobbing nicknames at me. You just keep throwing new ones. Some I don't like.
I'm Rob.
See,
Robbie T.
One you brought. I don't even want to talk about it because it was brought up again yesterday for somebody else. No, I don't want no.
R to the OB.
That's me.
How about Boar? Rob backwards.
I am boring.
I
am,
but like the animal, like a boar.
Like
anytime you bring up an animal like that around my son, like what does it go?
Oh, do you have the toy where the arrow, you spin the arrow around and it makes the noise of the animal?
Oh yeah,
it's a necessity.
His favorite is the rooster.
One that we're accustomed to. Hey, we'd like to congratulate the Milwaukee Bucks for entering in a brand new era. They fired Adrian Griffin and promptly went out and won their first game without him, though after the win, they announced that they did get themselves a coach. Doc Rivers has been revived from the dead yet again, and will go and try to rectify what a ship that isn't really sinking. They went and got themselves another win. Warriors went back to work last night after the loss of their assistant coach. Just a terrible situation there, and an ongoing rough season for the Warriors, one of which, it's kind of easy to sit back and laugh, but my gosh, what else can happen at a franchise? You dealing with Draymond, an assistant passes away mid-season. You got all kinds of issues, and you're playing out your string if you're Kerr. There's guys like me saying move to San Antonio. It's a rough time up there in Golden State, but they did celebrate appropriately last night. The Spurs gave a season or let the Oklahoma City Thunders get 140 points, a 26-point win. Oklahoma City's won 4 consecutive games and remains tied with the Timberwolves for the top of the Western Conference. And man, oh man, do they look like it. SGA had 32, and it was an effective, quiet, consistent 32 points. I mean, he was there when they needed him. He was a willing passer when required, and Oklahoma City was just better up and down in everything they did, but for Wemby.
They're a machine, Oklahoma City, that is. And the Spurs have one cog. He's an awesome cog, but, on his own, he's not a machine. And he doesn't have other cogs to power the overall unit. And I think we saw that unfold throughout the course of this game.
When they did play against each other, man to man, when they were guarding each other, and that's what we were all watching as we went.
Wemby owned him. That's what it was.
Wemby, volume was certainly there because Wemby is the dude. Wemby had 12 shots and went 5 of 12. Chet Holmgren only took 4 from the field. Was 2 of 4. Now there was a couple of threes that he hit. Points against each other, man to man, mano a mano. Wemby put 14 on Chet. Chet put 6, and there was a hearty go back and forth. It was as mad and angry a game as I've seen from Wemby since the first game. Now, he brought the pepper like he did against Durant, and it showed. Offensive matchups, 25 and 35 for Holmgren. There was a the teams were better. Oklahoma was better with Holmgren in. Wemby was a minus, but you lose by 26 points. That happens. It was the 7th time Wemby had recorded 20, 10, and 4. That's 20 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 blocks. That's the most since Tim Duncan did it in 97-98. He's also the first rookie to average 25 3 blocks in a 6-game span since Duncan in 98. And for the entire season, he is now over 20 points a game at 20.4, 10.1 rebounds, 3.2 blocks. He is now, I believe, after last night's performance, the odds-on favorite for those that look at the best player and not the best player on the best team for your rookie of the year.
Yeah, I can't remember a time, Rob, where, it was this complicated, where, you had one rookie who was just so significantly ahead of the other in every statistical measurement of note, but the other one was somebody who I really wanted to pick. And so that has made it super difficult to determine who rookie of the year is through January 24th.
Now, I don't want to continue to just degrade what I saw from San Antonio because it was a bad outing. They got Oklahoma City off of a game that they had just stolen. It was on a back-to-back. On top of that, they came into San Antonio and got roped. And, the Spurs started fast. They just couldn't hold on to it. And Wemby in the matchups, while he dominated Holmgren just looks more polished. He looks older. He looks more mature. His game is more mature. He just doesn't need to take the number of shots, the volume, because he's got Shai Gilgeous beside him. You got Jalen Williams over on the side. He's got other guys to kind of take up the slack. So it doesn't really.
That isn't about his polish, though. That's just, that isn't about him. That isn't about Chet. I hate how much I hate Chet because of all the stupid stuff, by the way. Like, I hate this.
Well, let's continue to compare because it's so much fun.
But I hate that I have to hate him. I hate that NBA media have done this to him.
It would be worse.
He's awesome. I want to enjoy him.
It would be worse if he'd have dominated Wemby last night because then there'd be nothing to look at.
But that wouldn't have happened because Wemby's so much better.
He is not. He's better now. He's not as polished. You can tell he's going to be
What
in
do
the
you
long.
mean he's not as polished?
He's
You're
just not.
calling Paul. You're referring to him having teammates that can help him be better.
No,
as
it's not
polish.
that. I'm just talking about just the little things when you watch individual players do things. When you watch them dribble and when you watch them shoot, do they do everything right? Are they squaring their knees, their hips? Is their elbow tucked? Are they finding the plant foot? Are they doing everything on top of being involved in the game? And that's where a true pro comes to play. And Wemby's doing about 7 or 6 of the 10 things that you need to do every time down. And Chet is up to about 8 because he's had a year of work. It's just apparent. Now, Wemby is so much better because he can do other things and it's natural. He's doing things that coaches would want to improve upon, but they never even told him to do it. He can just already do it. And that's why you look at Wemby and you look at Chet and you look at the matchup and you go, I like them both. But the taller one, the guy who says he's 7'3", but actually 7'5", there's something about him. If you didn't know who they were and you saw him go after, I think 8 out of 10 would go, I like Wemby. I like that guy. They're both great, but that guy does 1 or 2.
Selling it short.
Maybe. Well, I'm not taking away from Holmgren because the dude can play legitimately. He's going to be a force for a long time, just in a very different way. And as we continue to compare, Wemby is on pace to become the first player, rookie or not, to average 20, 10 rebounds, 3 blocks in a season since Shaq did it 24 years ago in 99-2000. Holmgren just recorded his 70th three-pointer in the season. He joined Eddie Griffin in 2002 and Kristaps Porzingis as the only rookies to record 73s and 100 blocks in a season. And he's already there. We're talking about numbers that extrapolated are just amazing. But it's not enough in Wemby's case to carry them to a win because he doesn't have the same supporting cast. And he's so far away from even being close to where OKC is. It's become very apparent to me, RJ, that the talent is just not there.
He needs help. I mean, that's just in today's NBA, you can't do it literally by yourself, which is the task for Wemby right now. And to your point, like, even if he were the fully evolved version of himself, which he's clearly nowhere near. To your point, there's some rawness and things that have to be refined. If you want to use the word polish, whatever, those things will come in time. But even if he were that player, he's not like with this team. And I feel bad smushing on the Spurs, but like it's not a fair fight. You know what I mean? You're bringing a knife to a gunfight. Like that's what's happening here. You simply cannot beat 5 people. You can't.
Now the good news is OKC is head and shoulders above because they've been working on this for a little bit. They've had opportunity to use those high draft picks and unwittingly, everybody thinks they're drafting a potential, all NBA type. But I think that when Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was drafted, that expectation was maybe. I don't think they had any idea he would be this. This Shai is the Spurs Manu. Wow, he's everything we thought he could be and more. But we didn't, it's just one of those once in a generation. My goodness, he is more than we thought, and we already thought he was pretty good. So they have that going for them, and they've had some very effective drafts. Jalen Williams late last year has been a revelation. He single-handedly won a game 2 nights ago and beat the Spurs with just great shooting and physicality last night. This is just a second-year player. They're just so much better. Portland's coming to town, and Portland is in the same boat the Spurs are. This is
they're
a team
pissed off because they had a game taken from them.
Yes, but this is a team in talent level that's pretty equal to the Spurs. When you line them up man for man, Anthony Simmons and Jeremy Grant and Jabari Walker and DeAndre Ayton, not a lot of fear there. We thought when the Spurs came home, we knew, and they've continued to be, they're competitive now. I mean, they lost by 26, but that was a 13-point game all night. I mean, that's what it was. They got away late. This is a game they better win. What I'm getting at is now's the time I feel justified as I tell you all of the things that Wemby is doing, that there are now games you better win. Not that you should win, but if you don't win, we now have to start treating you like teams that are expected to win some games. And
that's the thing. Like you can't have your cake and eat it too, Spurs. You know what I mean? You can't. And that goes I don't think that Wemby is interested in that. I do think the Spurs are kind of interested in that. I think the Spurs are kind of the mindset like, hey, just give us time, relax, stop freaking out. I do think Wemby's a little bit more impatient. I think Wemby's like, I mean, we ever since he was like, look, all right, statement coming up, Wemby has kind of, lived up to his end of the bargain. So I don't think that Wemby is comfortable. And I don't mean to imply or insinuate that he's mad or, upset or anything like that. But right. But I do think he's like, this stinks. Like, I don't want to do this. Like, let's try. Let's go for this.
Let him commiserate with Scoot.
Well, I mean, it's a thing like you gotta win some of these games, and that's what I'm not mad about the Oklahoma City game last night. I'm not. I'm mad about the Charlotte game last week. Like those are the games. Like if you're gonna ask us to lower our expectations, they still have to exist. Mm-hmm. They can't be non-existent. So you can't drop these games. You cannot be the worst team in the West. You cannot be a bottom feeder, the plankton on the boat of the association, because that's who you are right now.
And that's where the Zach Lowe's in the world get off and can say the things that they can say.
You're throwing that chum in the water. I agree with that.
So you've got to win these. And everything is relative, because this time last year when the Spurs were in this chase, we were thinking, well, there's Wemby, there's Scoot Henderson, and there's the Thompson brothers. Those are the guys that this time a year ago, Spur fan were going, the lottery balls fall right. We might get Wemby, but let's be realistic. If we don't get him, Scoot Henderson would be a great guy to grab. Well, returns on that pretty low. He's averaging 11 points, 1 rebound, and 3 assists a game, and is not even in the starting lineup. Again, propping up what Wemby has been able to do. Remember, Scoot came out of that G League stuff. He'd been playing against NBA types. Let down there.
Some news, by the way. Doc Rivers is signing a contract through 26-27 season with Milwaukee.
That's about right. He won't coach that year, but at least he'll get paid. That'll add one more coach to the payroll that the Bucks are stringing along.
And Griffin.
I don't think Doc lasts more than a year.
But to your point a little while ago, spend the money. You think the Bucks care that they're spending all this money? No. You think the Bucks care at all? No. The Bucks are pumped. Everything about the Bucks are able to trade for Dame Lillard. I mean, like that, like it can be done. You don't just have to luck into all of this. And that's where I think we're slowly we're circling this subject. You know what I mean? We're sharks in this water, and we don't want to have to get snippy, but we're kind of getting pushed to that point. On the subject of snippy, by the way, did you see Luka last night and what happened?
He had a fan thrown out.
Yeah. So the Mavs were playing the Suns on Wednesday night, and a fan shouted at Luka, "Luka, you tired?" Said questioningly. "Get on a treadmill." And Luka asked security to escort the fan out, and the fan was asked to watch the game from the concourse.
I think you hit a nerve. I think he's heard as much as everybody's always said, like, dude, if you were in shape, if you would just lose a little bit of weight and get a little trim, just think what you could do.
This is a bad idea. Like, no matter who you are, no matter how famous, no matter how powerful, this is a bad idea. Because what is Luka going to hear for the rest of the season?
Exactly.
All
don't
you
say
have
horns
done,
down. It hurts our feelings. Don't say horns down. Now you got teams never even played Texas flashing horns down just because it hurts their feelings.
All you have done is say, I'm insecure about this, and it bothers me when you say it. And like this Suns fan is a hero. Like to all Suns fans everywhere now. Like this is. I mean, not that the Suns have much to stand on relative to the Mavericks and Luka specifically, but I mean, still, the point stands. Like, this is a bad idea. Like, this does not end well for Luka and the Mavericks.
There used to be a guy that I believe he was, this was back when the Wizards were the Bullets. He was renowned as the worst fan in all of basketball. And he would buy a season ticket and he would sit behind the opposing team's bench and pick one player a game and just dog him nonstop. Never cuss or anything like that. Just go and dig up history and just talk about him constantly. And there was a time when Michael had come in with Chicago, and he sat behind Michael and read out loud from a series of books that talked about him, to the point where Michael started laughing. I mean, he was just like, this is unbelievable. That guy made a name for just being that guy. That guy couldn't exist in this league. In this modern world, you couldn't do what that guy did. And he was hilarious. But you can't do that now. They get mad. They get a little surly. Hey, and if you're surly and have some grievances to air, if you need to start your Thursday in a positive light, if you need to find your zen, we're 15 minutes away from calm and zen, but you're going to have to breathe in and breathe out. We're breathing out the bad air after bringing in the good. It's coming. But first, we got some more football talk coming. We're glad you're with us today. This is Rob and RJ, and you're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The NFL playoffs are here.
Read all about it, baby. One last drive.
Wild card, divisional, conference championship, and Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas. Hear it on your exclusive home for the NFL playoffs and the Super Bowl. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
When was the last time you went to the dentist? Need a new dentist? Hi, Jason Minix here. Go see my dentist at Smile Structure Dentistry and Braces. Smile Structure can handle all your dentistry needs, from general dentistry to oral surgery, orthodontics for the kids, or Invisalign for adults. Mention this ad, get a free exam and x-rays. Veteran owned with 5 San Antonio area locations. Learn more and book an appointment online at smilestructure.com. That's smilestructure.com.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Hey, poker players, the Big Blind is open. With a true Vegas feel, the Big Blind is the premier poker room in San Antonio, featuring an upscale environment catering to players from all abilities. Whether you are seeking high-octane tournaments or lively cash games, the Big Blind has a game for everyone. The Big Blind at 281 in Redland Road, just down from the Rue Pub, offers daily cash games to daily, weekly, and monthly tournaments. Learn more online at thebigblindsa.com. The Big Blind at 281 in Redland Road.
Flight by Yingling is the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling and Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
You've heard the buzz about IT jobs and cybersecurity and AI, right? Why not prepare for a career in these fields and take advantage of the high demand? You could enjoy a more rewarding and recession-resistant lifestyle. Train in just a few short months at My Computer Career. Are you a veteran, active duty military, or already in IT? Skill up for positions employers need to fill. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. That's mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. hims.com/joy.
San Antonio is Aggie country. This is Andrew Monaco, and you're listening to the home of the Aggies, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Rob and RJ with you here on a good old Thursday. That bright thing you're going to see in the sky today, that's the sun. Get used to it. Looks like the rain will be gone for a while. As we head into a conference championship weekend, you'll air your grievances here in just a couple of minutes. If you've got them, you can type them. We'll read them on our YouTube feed, or you can speak them at 656-3776. That's just in a couple of minutes. I'd like to congratulate well, I can't even pronounce
the Suns fan,
Diana Yastremska. She is headed toward the semis in the Australian Open, the AO, as it's known around my house, versus Qinwen Zhang. Yastremska defeated WTA top 50 player in all 5 main draw matches this year. She's balling, as they say. She beat Linda Noskova.
Are you a pickleball person? I could see you being into this. I could actually see you being like really into this.
I'm not sure, RJ. I think that.
Are you afraid to try?
I think pickleball might be a cult. I don't have any real proof, but anybody that I know that has ventured into a pickleball arena or stadium or court, they come back different. They just come back a little wall-eyed, a little goofy, and they want big ping pong paddles, and they suddenly think they're athletes, and they're wearing sweatbands. I don't know what's going on with pickleball. I'm afraid to try it, but in fact, my son yesterday, he's a member of a gym here in town. I don't want to give out which one because I'm not happy with him, but he went on a guest pass this weekend, and he would go play basketball. He goes, man, I haven't been there since the last time they took away a whole basketball court, and now it's pickleball courts. So pickleball is now infringing on basketball courts. It's a weird time. I'm not sure. I think it's interesting, and it must be fun, but I saw a pickleball match on TV. That's not a sport for TV, sadly.
It's not a sport for TV,
and I know
it's also it can be cool without having to be something that we have to obsess about. I don't want to get into an early grievance, but like I saw Scotty Scheffler posting about on Instagram the team that he like bought into, whatever. And look, make all the money you want, whoever you are, but it was like I don't even know what the team is called. Like, let's just call it the Bumblebees.
It
was like the new Bumblebees merch is swag-tastic. And it was like, who is buying this? Who is like, I need Bumblebee merch for the pickleball team that Scotty Scheffler owns.
It feels like I would go like, hey, we're going to go play pickleball. And you're going to go hang out with the pickleball people. And before you know it, you're going to be like, I don't know what I just did, but I just bought 25 paddles and a bunch of shirts that I have to resell. Like I got recruited into some kind of MLM, and I'm in a cult now.
On the subject of things to wear, things to buy, the NBA released this year's All-Star jerseys.
I do
which
like
Wemby
those.
should be wearing.
I do
They
like
look
those. What do you
great.
think about East-West? Our Saving Private Ryan, our DH, just asked, what do you think about going back to the East-West format? Does that
I'm
matter
a
to you?
fan. This is the way it
It's the
should
only
be.
way it should be?
Yeah. Like imagine like, you're growing up, you're like, oh man, I really want to be an all-star. And you envision playing for your favorite team or whatever. You envision the like jersey hanging in your man cave. Do you envision an East-West jersey or a Team Giannis jersey?
Yeah,
like
the
hanging in your
East-West.
man cave.
These jerseys are how it should look. This is an appropriate all-star
Nice,
look.
simple,
Yeah.
clean, effective, to the point, red, blue.
All that I
perfect,
would ask
beautiful
is they should have some delineation every year for the year.
It says it on the bottom, like near the tag.
Yeah,
it does say that. I mean, it's
make it
just not
apparent.
massive.
That's all I ask.
Wow. So it's never enough.
No,
like the song
but
from
like
Greatest
you said,
Showman.
Wemby better be wearing one of those when we get there. If you had your choice of things to do on a sporting night such as tonight, I think most of America would like to go be in the South Carolina LSU ladies basketball game as Carolina is venturing into Baton Rouge tonight. And I read earlier that this ladies basketball game, this matchup between the two of the Don Staley and what's her name? Fell out of my brain.
Kim Mulkey.
Yeah, Kim Mulkey. $3,000 a seat going tonight in Baton Rouge. This is a big ticket item.
You dropping $3K?
I would go to this. Have you seen where they have the dress like Kim Mulkey nights? Where she, Kim tends to dress like Elvis after he discovered carbohydrates in Vegas.
It's really hard to paint a picture in a handful of words, but you did it.
And that's the most appropriate. Kim Mulkey's got a style. See, she looks like Elvis playing the third show at Caesars back in 1972.
Did you watch the Elvis movie, by the way?
Oh, yeah. My wife, man, Elvis is a part of my life.
No, but did you know? So I like to look up trivia. Again, I don't know if this is a grievance, an early one, but Austin Butler, who played Elvis in the movie,
the guy who couldn't lose his accent after he did the movie.
That's what I was going to ask. Did you know that? Like that would be the weirdest thing ever. Like imagine interviewing him and he's like, and you're like,
hey, dude, you're not Elvis. You know that, right?
Yeah, you know you're not actually Elvis, right? It was all pretend. For
thank you very much. Thank you very much.
It's like, that would
you're
be
not
the
Elvis.
weirdest.
You know that, right? You know.
And imagine having to explain that to people. Yeah, well, I just thought I was him.
Just couldn't lose it. But no, I watched him do a couple of awards show afterwards, and I was like, that poor cat needs to go get deprogrammed.
Wow.
And anyway, I would go, and I too would wear a leather jumpsuit.
Who's winning?
Pink
Pick
flowers.
the winner tonight.
At home, I think LSU's tough though. Man, Don Staley's team, they're number one. They're gonna win it. This is one game where Mulkey's gonna lose. Staley's tough, man. We're gonna air our grievances coming up. So if you got something to say, sound off like you got a pair. Grab the Festivus poll. Do what you need to do, but we need to find our zen, and we will do it next. This is Rob and RJ, and we're about to unload. You're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on The Blitz, one big job in the NFL has been filled. What about the rest of them? Who's next?
With Harbaugh going to the Chargers, I do think the rest of the dominoes will start to fall. We'll talk about that. Plus, it was Chet versus Wemby last night, rivalry week. We have the reaction on The Blitz starting at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
I didn't want to call Bobo and have to have a confrontation.
Just make a change?
Yeah, because you're so bitchy.
We do it all the time.
You're so bitchy, Bobo.
You always
do you
want to
realize how bitchy you are? And I don't want to fight with you.
You know, you calling me bitchy would be like me calling you a fat bastard. You know, that's projection, dude.
The John Clay Wolf Show, every Saturday morning.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show, Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon, right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
Eczema flaring up again? We have good news. Exoderm. If you or someone you love suffers from eczema or dermatitis, get Exoderm, the common sense answer for eczema. This stuff really does work. Exoderm contains the #1 doctor-recommended ingredient in a clean hypoallergenic cream with no harsh additives. Take back control of your eczema with affordable, fast-acting Exoderm Flare Control Cream. Exoderm, it's in the first aid aisle of your local Walmart, H-E-B, and other fine stores.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think you could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text JUDGE to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text JUDGE to 42424. That's JUDGE to 42424.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Meet Cheryl. Hey. She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's gotta be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through HIMS, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with things I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of the disease called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, straight lines seem wavy, like when looking at a door frame. For others, blurry or missing spots can make it hard to read or see loved ones' faces. Many have trouble seeing in low light, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you've been diagnosed with AMD and notice vision changes, don't wait. Talk to your eye doctor about GA today. Learn more at GAWon'tWait.com. That's GAWon'tWait.com.
This is Joe Reinagle from The Blitz. You're listening to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hey, you're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Get used to it. He's RJ Ochoa. I'm Rob Thompson. And I'm sitting in a radio studio and at a grocery store at the same time. If I hear that commercial one more time, if I have to sit through one more commercial of some dude in a giant puffer coat at a football game and a grocery store at the same time rapping about it, how much time has Instacart bought on the sporting events that I'm watching? My God, Instacart, enough. It's every other break. Even your dogs are upset with it. The mailman here.
So what is your problem with it specifically?
I hate it. It never stops. It's see, in my life, the only time I ever see commercials is when I'm watching a live sporting event. I never, okay. I build my life around starting events late so I can I hate commercials. I have gotten to the point where I detest them. So when I do see them on this rare basis, like when I'm watching a football game or a Spurs game, I have
so
found
your grievance isn't commercials though. It's this specific commercial.
It's this one. I have 3 commercials that I dislike. I'm tired. I have reached an age where it appears that every drug commercial is aimed at me.
Okay. I understand.
And it's not that. What I hate is the names of the drugs.
Oh, that's the grievance. Not even the commercial. It's just
who's naming these things. I mean, some of them sound like. I mean, they're just ridiculous names. So I don't know what the process is behind naming them. But I'm not going to take anything called Sky Rizzy.
Yeah, or like Take Me Max. Like it's just like the weirdest,
Sky Rizzy's a rap name.
I understand where
you
you're
down with Sky Rizzy's record?
No, I don't empathize with you, but I understand why this would bother you.
So there's that because it's in my, now that we're in niche marketing and they, you are pointed out more than you ever know. You've been geofenced, you've been searched, your search history, they know what you like, what you don't like. So now all I ever get is like prostate commercials, low T, heart failure, diabetes, and it comes at me constantly. Or the ease of life stuff, the Instacart. I'm at a grocery store and a football over and over and over. And those are the only commercials. And I run from them now to the point where I'm almost willing to wait to start a live sporting program, a live sporting event 15, 20 minutes late, just so I can get through the commercial.
You'll catch up really fast in 15, 20 minutes. Like that's not
the problem.
Enough.
So you have to wait.
Not enough of a buffer.
And to do that is like, you have to go away for 30, 35 minutes. And that means also put down your phone. Go away from all other things.
You can't live without your phone, you millennial.
Well, I'm just saying, the updates for other things. If there's other things going on in the world, not only are you turning off that, but you're turning off everything. So you got to watch the commercials.
You've gotten like 6 grievances in one grievance.
Well, I'm just starting. I'm just warming up. It's Thursday.
Everyone can offer their grievances. What is your grievance? What annoys you? What pisses you off? Let us know in the chat. If you want to call in and get something off your chest, 656-3776.
What's in your craw? What's stuck in your craw? Whatever that is.
A couple things here. I have 2 main ones, but I can be persuaded into going further if you'd like. You mentioned commercials. So we have 2 dogs. All right.
What are their names?
We have little puppy, Honey.
Honey's brand new. Yes. One. Cutie, by the way.
Goodness gracious, man. Her energy. I have a lot of grievances with Honey specifically, but that's a whole different box. But anyway. Honey's actually, aside from her like insane energy, more chill. Bear is the more anxious one. Bear is,
Honey and Bear.
He'll be 5 years old in June.
Is Bear spelled B-E-A-R or B-E-X-A-R in homage?
He's not named after the county. Okay. No. So Bear is a COVID dog, so he's a little anxious. You know what I mean? Whatever. You know what we don't need anymore from commercials? I'm jumping on your
doorbells.
We do not need doorbells in commercials. Nobody wants this. This is a horrible idea. Nobody in the history of the world has had their life benefited from a doorbell being in a commercial, because you know what's happening? I'm watching the commercial while I'm watching a sporting event after 7:00.
Yep.
And I've got the 2 dogs with me in the living room, and the baby, the toddler, is asleep. And then the doorbell and the commercial goes off, and the one dog freaks out, and then that dog gets the other dog to freak out. So everybody is freaking out. Everybody's barking. I have to jump up from my position of relaxation to calm the situation.
The whole
and then
thing,
Then I have to get up and go get them treats, and then I'm up, so I might as well get something. And everything I was doing has completely been thrown off of equilibrium because some idiot decided to put a doorbell on their commercial. Why? Why does this have to happen?
In the industry, there is this unwritten rule that you do not have a loud knock or doorbell on most commercials on air. And in vehicle for radio commercials, you do not have a siren ever in any commercial. It's just kind of it's not illegal, but it's just wrong. You just don't do it.
It's general courtesy. And you know what? I am making a decree, a declaration. I will not purchase anything from anyone that has a doorbell in their commercial. I don't care what it is. I will not.
It's funny that when every now and then you get this spate of it, and then people get mad. That a couple years ago, there was a senator that got sick and tired of the volume of the commercials being higher than the broadcast level. Like you go to a break and suddenly the commercial is blasting out of your TV. Then you go back to the show you've been watching and it's normal. That's now illegal.
Do you want to know my other one?
I'm eager, man. I like the first one.
So then we'll get to some. Oh, by the way, Alexandra says in the chat, the doorbell commercials get my dogs every time. Rudy says, I have 3 dogs that bark at people across the street and the other dogs in the back and squirrels, but they never react to anything on TV. You must have dumb dogs. My dogs are super intelligent. They also bark at people across the street, to be very clear.
Well, my dog's not even. Well, I don't have. There's no way for anybody to ring my doorbell at my house. You can't get to it. If you've gotten in, you've gotten through a gate. There's no just walking up to my house and ringing the doorbell without being announced. So, but I have a doorbell built in. They'd never heard a doorbell. So the only doorbell they have literally ever heard is on TV, and that makes them bark. It's genetic. They cannot not bark when they hear the doorbell.
So I want to get to my other one, but I do want to address something that somebody brought up. I'm sending y'all a picture in the chat. The comment here is from Tony. He says, my grievance is that dumb-looking green shark fin on the Lions defensive player. Why can't they just be like the rest of the league and just wear a green dot? Tony, you're talking about Brian Branch, the rookie safety for the Detroit Lions. I sent y'all a picture.
Yes.
It's not so the green dot on defensive players' helmets in the NFL. That's the microphone, right? It's the player that is allowed to hear the signals from the defensive coordinator or the play call, whatever, and they're the person who administers it to the rest of the team. This is not that. The dot just so happens to be lime green, which is what this happens to be. This is a mouthpiece, a mouth guard that Brian Branch just happens to find comfortable there. Like he just, instead of having it attached to the bottom of his helmet like some players do, or to his face mask or whatever the case may be, he stores it here. That's what Brian Branch does.
The picture you sent me, it's stored during gameplay.
Yeah, well, I mean, like sometimes he forgets to put it in. You know what I mean? Like whatever the case may be. I mean, so yeah,
I've never seen that before.
I can't explain his line of thought, but it's not the green dot. That's all. It's not an antenna that's connecting him to Aaron Glenn.
You're a mouthpiece. Did you ever have to wear a mouthpiece back in my day? You only wore a mouthpiece if you played football. If you played basketball, you didn't. You might go get one. You might want one, but you were really only forced to wear one.
Some people are saying that Brian Branch is the Steph Curry of the NFL with all the drama surrounding the mouth.
Well, that's kind of where I'm going with that, because I hated when there came a time as a basketball player, like, you need to wear a mouthpiece so I started. And the biggest problem with the mouthpiece is there was never any place to put it. Once it was in,
I kind of empathize with Steph because you don't want to just have it stored in your mouth the whole time.
And and Steph has enough money to go get one that would fit and you wouldn't even notice. But south side of San Antonio, go get a mouthpiece from Bruner's, boil it, and hold on and hope when you go to the free throw line, stuff it in your sock. I mean, I get sticking it in my helmet. I never could find a place to put the damn thing.
I'm ready for my second grievance.
Let's hear it.
Okay, so when you buy a washer and dryer set, you should be able to choose how you want the doors to be set up. Like you should not have to be like
swinging.
Yeah, like you should not be like, oh well, this is my positioning and this is where the cords and the plumbing and everything. Because the way your house is or wherever you live,
you can't.
You have to line them up a certain way because of the vent or whatever the case may be. Like sometimes the dryer has to go on the left or the right, again, depending on your particular setup. So if you're in love with a certain washer dryer, you should not be like, oh, this stinks, like the doors are going to run into each other.
Well,
I have to find a different
the side. You can't.
I don't think so. You should. That should be customizable. It should be something that you can tailor on your washer dryer. If you can change them, that's news to me, and I'm going to go do that right now.
I've never done it, but I've never run into the problem.
As it stands for us in our home, our washer, if you're looking at it, is on the right side, but the door opens to the left. And the dryer is on the left side, and the door opens.
So they meet in the middle. So unloading is a bear because you can't move it across because you got to pull.
I wouldn't call it unloading. It's the transfer from washer to the dryer.
You got to go around the door.
You have to go over the door, and so then you drop something, and then the dog who heard the doorbell comes in and gets a wet sock and is running. It's just chaos in my house. So there should be an ability to amend, not even when you order them. To your point, maybe it does exist. You should be able to alter this. It's just the door. You know what I mean? It's not. I'm not saying I should be able to alter the water flow or something like that, like something ridiculous. But there should be a very easy, like, hey man, just flip this around and the doors adjust.
Back a long time ago, before the
when you would wash clothes on the basin,
before you could buy, when I was washing my clothes on a rock, back a long time ago, before the internet. This is kind of akin to that. I was tasked with purchasing a couch. Now we had picked out the couch, and my wife and I had decided on the couch, and it was a sectional. It went one way, and then it turned.
An
L shaped.
Joe says you can change these, by the way. So I'm going to take a look
I think
at
you can. I really do think you can change the doors. I think that they're made where you can flip the door.
Well, I might have a very important update tomorrow. You'll see.
I think that would be worthy. Now, that'll involve some tools that you don't own and take more time than you could possibly come up with to fix. But there is an opportunity for you to do that. Now, I was tasked with buying a couch. And we had picked out the couch. My wife was like, okay, go back tomorrow and buy it. We looked around and we were going to do it and go back, buy it, get it delivered and all that. So I walk in and I bought the couch. And then when we had it delivered, I bought the wrong couch because the turn part was on the wrong side.
Ooh,
I bought the wrong couch.
I get what you're saying. So like where you maybe wanted it to go in like the corner of a room,
it went
now
the other
it's
way.
Stuck into the empty space.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
So they moved everything in and the guys are like, well, how do you want it situated? And I'm like, right there. And they go, no, bro, that ain't going to work. I'm like, what do you mean? I had bought the wrong couch. Those cats had unwrapped it. So little did she know that I knew that I had screwed this thing up. So I jumped on the phone and got it switched before she even knew there was a problem. But those
Look
guys,
at you.
Oh, see, that's one of those things that you lay your head on the pillow that night and you go, there are some days I know God loves me. There are some days that, this shouldn't have gone the way that it did. This could have been a horrible day, but one thing broke right and I'm okay. But that would have been just about the worst thing I could have done.
I have one more grievance if you're ready. And I don't know if you have another.
No, I have one more, but it's not nearly as good as yours.
Mine is another first world problem similar to the skip recap thing from yesterday. I do a lot of reading. I read a lot. I read a lot of information. I digest a lot of information.
You and I both.
I don't know if it's an app. I need a function on my phone that is connective tissue. I'm Team Apple. I got a Mac, got a iPhone, got an iPad. I need something to where I can store everything to read. It's like I see something throughout the day. This goes in my magic box. This goes in my magic box. And so when I have time, I can visit the magic box and read whatever I want. However, I found these things, whether it's through Twitter, through Instagram, through browsing, through Apple News. I need one place because what happens is I see somebody's Substack. Okay, I save it on my list in Substack. I see something on Twitter. I save it in my bookmarks. And I've got 14 different places that I have to remember to recheck and revisit to make sure I read the things that I want to read. I need one magic place to put everything that I want to read. And I don't want to have to log in or relog in or add my credentials or whatever the case may be. I just want one place. That's what I want.
Right now, I have an email inbox that has 62,000 unopened emails.
That makes me want to vomit.
I know.
Rob.
I know. It makes me tense just thinking about it. But it is that email that I have used as the, hey, give me your email address for whatever it might be. If it's a contest, all we need is your email to sign up or get coupons or whatever. So I've used that one over and over. I get the sense if I had that, like what you have, everything that I found interesting but didn't have the time for, I threw into a bucket. Before long, there'd be 63,000 little tidbits of knowledge that I felt like I'd have to go find, and there'd be no way I could catch up. Like I always feel I was behind.
Somebody would be like, "Oh, did you read the?" Oh, it's on the list.
It's on the list. It's the 47,000th thing on the list, but it's there. I vaguely remember that would induce more stress to me. Sometimes, in my mind, as I have gotten older, I have found that ignorance is indeed bliss in most occasions.
Ratbrain210 says, my grievance is people who drive slower on the highway on the fast lane than the speed limit, but won't get over into the slow one. That's pretty. Don't be a jerk. It's inconsiderate. Don't be
those
that
that have been long-term listening. My wife is not listening right now. I know where she is. That's my wife. I've been married to a woman for over 30 years who does 70 miles an hour in the left lane. She thinks just because she's doing 70, she's going over the speed limit that she shouldn't have to get over. If you want to speed more than her, it's up to you to go around her. And I have to ride, we'll drive from here to Dallas, and I'll drive, and I'll be like, oh no. So I'll be in the front seat and do my best to pay no attention because I'm in the right side, and everybody that's going by us is looking at me because I'm that guy too. So then
it's I'm really sorry.
I'll fall asleep in the car to will myself not to look around, and I'll wake up and I'll just kind of lean over and look in the rear view mirror. And my wife will have a semi on her ass, right there. And there'll be a line of them. She will have slowed traffic for miles, and people speeding by me, cussing. It's been 30 years, guys. I can't fix it. I've tried.
You know what else is a tough scene in terms of drivers like that? it's a grievance of mine as well. I don't mean to add one more, but the person who's riding with you that like the like fractional sign of danger or duress and like, but the like incredibly over dramatic reaction to just a car switching lanes or something.
Are you? You're gonna kill us all.
Because it's like I was not stressed at all until you did that. You know, like now you've put us more in peril than we were otherwise.
You know,
so
I'm not that guy. I used to be that guy. And you know who else isn't that guy? Private Ryan. I was giving Private Ryan in a ride into work. His very first day, I was going to go pick him up early. And keep in mind, we come in really, really early. So it's been a couple of weeks ago, and I picked up Ryan, and we came in a direction I normally don't come in on. I come in on I-10 and go to 410, yada yada. I was coming in on 151, and then gonna hit 410. So it was in an area that I was unaccustomed to. It was pouring down rain. It's dark. It is storming. I'm on a road that I'm unaccustomed to, and I'm half blind anyway. We were almost killed twice by a semi. One guy pulled into our lane. I hit one of those puddles and hydroplane through it. My man, Private Ryan, former Marine, sat calm as a cucumber. I mean, we were almost killed. Ryan just easy does it, man. Respect given. Either he was really asleep, heavily sedated, or has seen combat, because he was much calmer than even I was.
Yeah.
He had every right to jump me.
Respect to Ryan. So, first of all, Rudy says, I'm currently at Home Depot, and I can confirm that at least 4 front-load machine doors are adjustable. So I have a honeydew on my list.
Cool. There you go, man. That's why this is good.
I'll report back tomorrow. Everybody agreed that the person who gets dramatic while you're driving is super annoying, basically. So Rob, you said you had one more. I don't want to not get to it. What is
this
your
one?
final
This is just secondary. I don't want to watch any more basketball with Mark Jones calling the games.
Oh, okay.
He's so good at most of it and so annoying at the parts that matter to me that it's just so hard to watch. Every moment is not do or die. Every moment isn't huge.
I don't want to do this, but I'm going to. We don't need bangs for everything.
Thank you.
Like, it's a special thing. All right. And I love it. And it's a part of NBA and basketball history and lore. It does not have to be said 14 times in a playoff game.
That's not.
It's, pick your moments. You know what I mean? If you oversaturate the bang, then you actually kind of, diminish the value of the bang.
Its significance is lost in repetition.
And you have to be good enough to deserve a bang. Not everybody can merit a bang.
And I say bang to you.
A bang, bang, bangity bang.
RJ Ochoa. We had a banging show. Make sure you put a thumb on it today.
Bang!
Make sure you continue to like.
Bang!
Make sure you have subscribed. And make sure you hang around. We've got a long sporting day in front of us, and news will be breaking. The Blitz will be here at 2. Greeny is next. And then Romy's on a vine.
Bang!
Bang, 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 bang. We'll see you again Friday.
We're gonna bang!
The Sports Star Boys are headed to Vegas for the